What's up, Mets fans, and welcome back to Talking Mets at Rob. How is everybody doing today? Finally, the New York Mets are back home after a long and grueling West Coast trip. They got out of there somewhat squeaky clean in 5-5. I think most Mets fans would have took that going into the West Coast trip. Obviously, I mean, it's not easy going through a trip like that. Everybody knows that. No matter if it's the Mets, it's the Phillies, it's the Braves, it doesn't matter who is going through a West Coast trip. When you go on the West Coast trip for basically, 12 games out of 14 days, it's rough. It definitely is. But the Mets got out of there 5-5. The Braves did get some bad news about Ozzie Albies. They still won their 12 straight. The Phillies walked it off last night against the Marlins. They've been playing well. We all know that the Mets, all they have to do is just continue to win series, and they take care of their own destiny. So, once again, guys, how is everybody doing? We actually have a game at 7 o'clock tonight. I know a lot of people are shocked that that's actually possible again. It felt like we were never going to get out of a West Coast time zone, but we did, and we couldn't be any happier. We got a 7-game homestand with the Brewers and the Marlins. This is a big task, in my opinion, with the Brewers. The Brewers are 2-8 in their last 10. They have not been playing well, but we all know that they have one of the better rotations in the league, even though they haven't been performing to the back of their baseball card over the last 2 weeks. But they are a team that can shut you down pitching-wise. The Mets have been excellent at home this year, and I would be shocked if they don't have a good homestand. Can they go 7-0? Yeah, of course, but I'm not looking for that. I think to get your hopes way too high is not something that you should be doing right now. I think a 5-2 homestand is perfectly fine with me. We haven't played the Marlins this year. They also have a good pitching staff that can shut you down, but the Mets got to take advantage of a bad Brewers team right now that's really performing really badly, and the Mets got to take advantage of that. And like I told you with the Angels series, the way the Mets won those ball games, the first game and the last game of the series, they got to them early. And it puts doubt in their heads right away when the team is struggling. When you score early and when you scored often, it puts doubts in their head saying, hey, here we go again. We got to deal with this nonsense again. And it puts that losing mentality in their minds. And that's what they have. We have to continue to do it against the Brewers. And there's going to be a decent crowd there tonight. I know a lot of people that are going. The Mets haven't been home again in 2 weeks. So, it's always exciting to get Met fans back in the ballpark. The Mets continue to still be in first place. Again, I never thought the Mets were going to win the division by 10 games. I always thought it was going to be a close division, no matter who was going to be in second and third. I always felt that way. I do think the Mets are still going to win the division. As well as the Braves and the Phillies have played, I think all they did in this situation is put them in the playoff conversations when it comes to the wild card. And there's no doubt about it, guys. I was talking about the NL West getting 3 teams in the playoffs. Now I think it's going to be the NL East teams. 3 of those teams going to be making the playoffs. 2 in the wild card, 2 with the division. Only because I honestly think that the Walker Buehler injury to the Dodgers is going to hurt them more than actually the Dodger fans want to admit. And the Giants, I still don't trust the Giants. I still think they're doing it with smoke and mirrors. And the Padres, I still feel like, and you heard bad news about Tatis when he took the MRI, that it's not his wrist or hand is not healing the way they thought it would be healing at this point. So they pushed his timetable back more. So that's even worse for the Padres offense that still has been struggling. They have been winning, but they've been struggling offensively. Their pitching has been holding them down. Sooner or later, the pitching, I don't think it's going to go great throughout the whole year. So I think the NL East, with the Braves and the Phillies and the Mets, I think those 3 teams can make the playoffs, and it'll be a very interesting playoffs with 3 NL East teams amongst the 6. And more importantly, I have the 2 jerseys up behind me in the right and the left team. We got the Scherzer, we got the DeGrom, and we got the Scherzer jerseys up there because there was news that Scherzer is in New York. He will be pitching in a live batting practice very, very soon. So his timetable has been moved up drastically. It was 6 to 8 weeks. It's looking like it's going to be more about five and almost around that 6-week mark. So he's about a week or so ahead of schedule, which is nice. DeGrom is still throwing long toss, and he's going to be doing up and downs in the bullpen. And if you don't know what that basically means is he's going to throw 15 pitchers or so, sit down just like he sits down during a game after he pitches half an inning, and then gets back up and then throws another 15. So he's going to do that a couple of times, and that actually, it makes the adrenaline go up and down. It gets him in that groove again. And if everything goes well, all according to all the details that came out, everybody feels really good. Max Scherzer was saying that he feels about 85 to 90%. It's just, to get those rehab start to get to that 100% level to feel good on the mound when you have the up and down. So that's exactly what we wanted to hear. And that's why I think the Mets are not going to relinquish this division, is because we got them two aces in the hole that I do believe, I know 100% Scherzer's coming back. And I'm pretty confident from the news that we heard over the last couple of days that DeGrom is going to come back. And if he's healthy with Scherzer, there is no better 1-2 punch in baseball. And it's going to be very hard for the Mets to go on extended losing streaks. Again, guys, the Mets still haven't gone on a 3-game losing streak. The most they lost in a row is 2. So until that happens, I'm not too worried about it. And the way the Mets have been playing, they always found a way to win that game that could put them in 3-game losing streak. And that's what I love about this team. Again, yes, the Braves are playing great. Yes, the Phillies are playing really good as well. But it took the Braves to win 12 in a row, the Phillies to win 11 out of 12 or 10 out of 11 to get back and sniff the division. And again, I think with the Phillies, are going to make the playoffs. I think they're going to be one of the last teams in the playoffs, because I don't think anybody in the NL West is going to continue to play as well, especially with the Dodgers injury that they have with Buehler. The Giants, I still don't trust, and the Padres, I still don't trust. And I think the Phillies are going to sneak in. We do know that they have Wheeler and Nola, and I think Wheeler is the ace. I don't think there's any doubt about it. I never trust Nola, even though Nola hasn't been pitching well over the last 2 weeks in the Phillies winning streak. But I still think the fact that the Phillies defense and their bullpen is going to be their demise no matter how good they think they're going to be. I still think that's going to hurt them in the long run. Yes, they can fix the bullpen at the trade deadline. That shouldn't be too much of an issue, because most teams fix their bullpens at the trade deadline. The defense is the problem, because what are they really going to bring in and sit down? They're not going to sit down Castellanos. They're not going to take out Harper. They're not going to take out Schwarber. Realmuto ain't going anywhere. Segura is not going anywhere. Hoskins is he might be the one that might be in a deal, because I don't know how happy they are with Rhys Hoskins. But then again, it's, what moves can they make besides bullpen moves? And as good as Wheeler is, Nola, I still think, has this moment where he looks like an ace, and then the next moment he doesn't look like he can get out of the 5th inning. And I do trust the fact that Rob Thompson is that new voice that the Phillies needed, but I do feel that the Phillies aren't going to reach that level to win a division. But I do think they're going to be just as good enough to make the playoffs, because I don't think I don't trust anybody in the NL Central. The Brewers just relinquished the division to the Cardinals at the moment. They're a game and a half out now, when actually dominating that division for the first 2 months of the season. So look for the Mets, look for the Phillies, look for the Braves to all make the playoffs in the NL East, and it's going to be actually a lot of fun. So let's see what the Mets can do in this homestand. Again, I think they're going to have a winning homestand. I mean, it would be great if they go 7-0, but you know what? No fan should be looking. I mean, of course, that's wishful thinking. That's the way any fan will probably be a little bit biased and a little bit going confidence in their soul when it comes to their team. Absolutely. But at the end of the day, guys, the Mets, yes, their lead got cut in half. Yes. But it did take a crazy streak by the Braves and the Phillies to at least get to that point. And it's not like the Mets have been falling apart. It's not like they went 2-8 on the homestand. They haven't had a 3-game losing streak. So the Mets haven't been playing bad. They've still been playing good. And that is without DeGrom. That is without Scherzer. That was without McGill for 4 weeks. That was with Marte out a few games. That was with Alonso out 2 games. So I'm not too concerned to know that we're getting our aces in the hole. And there is nobody better than DeGrom and Scherzer at their peak. When they're healthy, they're the best 1-2 in baseball. And that is also the reason why I'm not too worried about the fact that the Mets got their lead in the NL East cut in half. Because it took a long winning streak to just get back into the race. Eventually, the Braves are going to lose. Eventually, the Braves are not going to continue to go 11-1 and 12. The Braves are not going to go 20-0. Is it possible? Of course it is. But you don't expect that. And they are facing the Marlins. I still think that, the Manley kind of screwed up that game yesterday against the Phillies because, was it the Phillies? Excuse me, the Braves, right? That's who the Braves are facing? I'm sorry, the Phillies. They actually took out Alcantara, and it was like, I know he had 113 pitches, but he still was pitching well. And, I don't think a lot of people give credit to, people's like, oh, McGill only pitched three innings against the Angels, but it was pretty damn good, 3 innings. And he's got good stuff, and it's totally different than what he had last year. So I expect McGill, I believe he pitches in this series, if I'm not mistaken. He's pitching in this series, in this homestand. So expect McGill to come back better than ever. He's healthy now. I don't have no doubt that Scherzer's coming back. So, because Scherzer's a bulldog, we all know that. He knows his body better than everybody. I expect him to come back and pitch the way Scherzer has pitched, and that is very well. McCann got good news. He should be going on a rehab stint very soon. So that's all the good news as well. So once again, guys, welcome to Mets pregame live. Mets versus Brewers finally back at CitiField after a long West Coast trip. Don't forget to please hit on that like button. And if you want to become a member of Talking Mets Rob, just click on that join button below, and you can look at the different memberships. I'm going to be doing a Q&A for members while I'm in Vegas. I'm leaving on Thursday, so probably sometime, I don't know, maybe Friday or Saturday, most likely on the weekend, do a little member Q&A with you guys while I'm in Vegas to hang out with you guys, get a little bit of that Vegas scenery while doing a little bit of a Q&A, so that will be fun. I'm probably not going to go live during games in Vegas because, well, it's Vegas. And I'll probably do a pregame or Mets Talk live before the game. So, I can enjoy the vacation a little bit. And, you guys get to hold it down and have some fun and watch the Mets games as well. So, got about 15 minutes until game time. Who's pitching tonight? What's the Mets lineup? We'll go through all that right now. And then we will always, as always, guys, get to everybody and say what's up to everybody in the chat right now. So, let me share my screen really quick so you guys can see what is going on. Let me move this button. And we are ready to go. All right, guys. So here is the pitching matchup for tonight. It's Adrian Hauser for the Milwaukee Brewers against the struggling Chris Bassett. Chris Bassett needs to get it together. His ERA jumped from a 2.45 to all the way to a 4.35 over his last 5 starts, and that's been a problem. He needs to get it together. He is basically the guy that had to step up the most with Scherzer and DeGrom down and McGill. He has not done that yet. I expect him to figure it out. He's a veteran. I do expect him to get it together, and why not do it at home? And that is your pitching matchup for tonight. But who is in the lineup for the New York Mets tonight? It's a little different lineup that we've seen on the West Coast over the last about 2 weeks. And this is what we have for the New York Mets. Brandon Nimmo leading off, playing center field. Starlin Marte batting second, playing right field. Francisco Lindor, shortstop batting third. Cleaning up is Pete Alonso. playing first base. Jeff McNeil batting behind Pete Alonso, playing left field, batting fifth. Eduardo Escobar batting sixth, playing third base. Luis Guillorme getting a start at second base, playing batting seventh. Nick Plummer getting a DH spot tonight, batting eighth. And Tomas Nido catching, batting ninth. So that is your lineup for your New York Mets, along with Chris Bassett on the mound for the New York Mets. And who is Bassett going to be facing in the Brewers lineup? So here we go, guys. Christian Yelich is leading off, playing left field. Willie Adames, shortstop, playing second base. Rowdy Tellez, first base, batting third. Luis Urias, second base, cleaning up. Andrew McCutchen, DHing, batting fifth. Omar Narvaez, catching, batting sixth. Hunter Renfroe, right field, batting seventh. Jace Peterson, batting eighth, playing third base. Tyrone Taylor, playing center field, batting ninth. So that is Chris Bassett, who he's facing tonight for the Brewers lineup. Once again, the pitching matchup, Adrian Hauser versus Chris Bassett. So that is your pitching matchup and lineups for tonight at CitiField at 7:10. So, guys, that is it right there as we get started and finish up Mets pregame live before the Mets versus Brewers watch party starts on Talking Mets and Rob. So here we go, guys. If you're just in the stream right now, say what's up in the chat. Do not be shy, guys. That's the only way you get shout out, because I can't see you otherwise. So here we go, guys, starting from the top. Football 12, Steven, Lane, Moose, Jonathan, Ryan, Blind Beer. We got Karen. We also have Joe, Emilio, Robert, excuse me, Angel, RM. Who else we got here? We got JD. We got Bobby, a member of Talking Mets and Raw. We got Steven. We got the Alien. Sean, a member of Talking Mets and Rob. Christian, a member of Talking Mets and Rob. There we go, guys. So that is everybody in the chat right now. We got 58 live viewers for Mets pregame live. So the goal tonight, 150 likes for the Mets first game at home in 2 weeks. Let's get that home stand started on a good note. Once again, guys, the Mets have to put doubt in the Brewers' mind. They've been 2-8 in the last 10. They've been struggling. Don't let them get any momentum. And I don't think the Mets are going to let any momentum go and started. Let's get Chris Bassett back on the winning side and have the Mets start off the homestand on a winning note. All right, let's see. Here we go, guys. Let me just see what's up with everybody. Well, you know what? Everybody was talking about the dead balls and everything like that as well. For some reason, the comments ain't showing up perfectly, so it's hard to read them. I don't know what's up with YouTube today. They've been having problems all afternoon, and I don't know why I can't see all the comments. So I can't see all the comments, guys. For some reason, they're all over the place, and the comments are not showing up when I click on them, so that's kind of annoying. So I can somewhat read them, because I don't know I don't know if they changed it. It looks stupid, but all right. So I can see your names. That's the best thing I can do. So I'm going to see if I can see some of the comments, but yes. All right. So the NL East is getting fun. I don't think any Mets fan thought that we were just going to run away with the division and have a 10-game lead throughout the entire year. That would have been fool's gold. And Met fans at the very least are pessimistic at heart. So, this team is different. When people talk about the Mets are choking, they're not. They haven't played bad all year. They're not choking. The Braves and the Phillies had to go out of their minds over a winning streak just to get a couple of games closer to the Mets. That's basically what happened. This Mets team is a hell of a lot different than last year. And they've done this without Scherzer and DeGrom, and for the most part, McGill as well. So I don't expect a choke job like last year, because that team was a complete joke last year. And I don't expect it. I think the Mets are still going to win the division, but I do think the Braves and the Phillies are going to be in the playoffs as well. The Braves, we all knew they had a good team. It's not shocking that they got hot and they were playing good baseball. I don't know what the Phillies are. I can't even tell you what they are. They're a team that can obviously bash a team out of the ballpark. Obviously, they got the 1-2 in their rotation with Nola and Wheeler. I don't trust Nola. I know Philly fans do. They can trust him all you want. He hasn't been good since 2018, 2019. I don't trust him. Wheeler, I trust. He's the ace, no doubt about it. And we know the Mets are a different team. They're an offensive team that have the most runs in baseball without clobbering home runs all over the yard. They do it differently. They what they do to the teams, they frustrate teams. They don't strike out a lot. They put the bat on the ball. We saw what happened the last game of the Angels series where Mike, I was going to say Mike Piazza, but excuse me, Pete Alonso hit a squimmer to second base where the second baseman had to dive for it. Marte was coming around third from second, and he would have been out, but Marte's speed put pressure on the defense to make a perfect throw, and they couldn't even do that. And that's why you put pressure on teams, and that's what the Mets have done all year. They frustrated teams. They foul off a lot of pitches. They make the pitchers throw a lot of pitches. They put the pressure on the defense. They take the extra base. They sack fly. They do small ball. They can beat you with the home run when they want to. And I expect them to continue that throughout the entire year. Jonathan, I know I see your comment a little bit. I think you're talking about Nola. Yeah, 2019 was good. Well, that was 3 years ago. And just because he's had a good stretch, I don't trust him. I just don't. Honestly, you never judge a team on their winning streak. You don't judge a team on a losing streak. You judge a team in the middle, basically. And, you could see who are the people that, and this goes for any team. This goes for the Mets. I'm not just talking, calling a team out. In general, when you see a team like the Phillies, who all aspects of the team so far in a winning streak, well, everybody looks good when there's a winning streak. But when things go wrong, who steps up? And that's when you're gonna have the real focus on who is the guy that can pick up a team, put the team on their shoulders. We've seen the Mets with their adversity after the 2 losses against the Dodgers at home. What happened? Big difference, right? Who stepped up? I mean, out of all people, Trevor Williams and David Peterson stepped up, and then you had Lindor. You had almost the whole offense pick up the team in that stretch against the Dodgers. And the same thing with the Phillies. The Phillies lost big to the Diamondbacks, but came back against the Marlins and did what they had to do and win that ball game. They found a way to win. The same thing with the Braves during their winning streak. They were beating teams. They were bludgeoning teams offensively. So you can't look at a team and say, oh, well, look, during the Mets 6-game winning streak at home and swept the homestand, it's easy to say, oh, look how good this team is doing. Everybody's doing well. Yeah, but when things go bad, who steps up for that team? And teams are going to struggle. It's just that simple. The Braves ain't going to win the next 60 games in a row. The Phillies are not going to win the next 50 games in a row. Same thing with the Mets. Most teams have 100 games left, 99 for most teams, and 100. So there's a lot of baseball left. A lot of things can happen. But I think as well as the East has been playing, the NL East, I think it just shows that there is good teams in the NL East. As people, were kind of saying that the NL East was the worst division in baseball in the NL, which is hilarious to me. They're the teams that can make the most moves during the trade deadline to better their team. We all know that the Braves did it last year. They're going to probably do it again at the trade deadline. The Phillies and the Mets need bullpen help. They're going to do it. So it's just a matter of who's going to better themselves the most to get them over the hump, which is the playoff bump. Besides the Braves, the Mets, the Phillies, the Nationals, Mets and the Phillies in general have been finding a lot of ways to not make the playoffs. They've been shooting themselves in the foot for the last couple of years. And let's be honest, there's no room for that anymore because the Mets and the Phillies have spent too much money to not make the playoffs. And I expect it. I expect them to make the playoffs. And at the end of all of this, who is going to step up the most and do some damage in the playoffs. When you get to a short series, I think it's important for the Mets to actually get that bye in the playoffs. It gives their rotation some rest. It gives their lineup some rest, because there's no mistake about it. The Mets are the oldest team in baseball considering age. So just because they've been playing well, I can assure you right now, I'd love to get that bye in that first round and just go right into the divisional series. So I expect big things in the NL East. I expect drama in the NL East, and it's going to come down to, the Mets and the Phillies played each other a lot the first 2 months, so they don't have a lot of games left. But the Mets and the Braves have a lot of games left. They got 15 games left over the next couple of months, so it will come down to that. That's where I think it hurts the Phillies a little bit, because they don't have a lot of games left with the Phillies, and when the Mets face the Phillies the first 2 months of the year, a lot, it kind of is in that time when the Phillies were not playing well, and that hurt their chances a lot, because the best way to gain games on a team really quickly is facing them and beating them. The Braves have that opportunity against the Mets, and the Mets have to knock the Braves out of their misery as well. And what hurts the Braves and the Phillies is that they're playing each other in a week? So somebody's going to win or lose, and that's going to hurt them, either team, no matter who loses. So the Mets are in the driver's seat. If they continue to do what they're doing, they're not going to lose the division. But they got a series against the Brewers that, I know the Brewers in the last 10 have been 2-8, but they have a pitching staff that can shut you down, and that can change everything. The offense has been okay for the Brewers, but not good enough. Their pitching has been okay, but we know their rotation can be the best in baseball. So let's see what the Mets can do with Bassett on the mound. The Mets offense has been showing what they can do this entire year. If they get the pitch count up of the pitcher, they're going to knock them out early, and they're going to beat you and bludgeon you with hits and small ball, and they're going to make you work for every out. So we got about 7 or 8 minutes left until the Mets face the Brewers. The Mets are finally back home at CitiField. Finally, I'm so sick and tired of that West Coast trip. I mean, I couldn't get any less sleep during that week. So I'm glad that I can actually, a game can end right around 10:30 and not start at 10:30. Thank freaking God, because I'm so damn happy. Whew. So, once again, guys, don't forget to please hit on that like button. We're going to start this game any minute now. I'm going to go over the lineup one more time before we call it a pregame and get into the Mets versus Brewers. So, the lineup today for the Mets is as follows. Brandon Nimmo leading off, playing center field. Starlin Marte playing right field, batting second. Francisco Lindor, shortstop, batting third. Pete Alonso playing first base, cleaning up. Jeff McNeil batting fifth, playing left field. Eduardo Escobar, sixth, playing third base. Luis Guillorme playing second base, batting seventh. Nick Plummer getting a DH role today, batting eighth. And Tomas Nido catching, batting ninth. So that is your lineup for the Mets against the Brewers. Again, Hauser for the Brewers and Bassett for the Mets is the pitching matchup. So we are ready to go in a few minutes, guys. Obviously, SNY is back with Gary, Keith, and Ron, which is great. So we get a nice little, no more, Apple TV, no more ESPN. Thank God for that. I think we can all agree, no matter if you're a Mets fan or not, that we can't stand ESPN or Apple. Even though Apple had finally figured out that they should get an announcer from one of the teams, so they actually have experience doing it, and they had Wayne Randazzo doing it for the Mets on Apple TV, which was pretty cool. But I still made sure we had the radio call, because who the hell wants to listen to Apple TV no matter what? So we are getting started in a few minutes. It's almost 7 o'clock, so hit on that like button, guys. Let's get this stream out to more people for Mets versus Brewers watch party, and let's have fun. Jonathan Utley, we don't speak of that name here, sir. Fox is okay, but yeah. So, 7 o'clock, guys. Mets versus Brewers. Mets back home. Let's go, Mets. let's get it in the chat right now. Let's go Mets chant going, and we are ready to go. Gonna start with that SNY feed in a few minutes. So I love all you guys. You guys are great. Even if you're a Philly fan, Jonathan, I still respect the fact that you're a Philly fan because you're legit. I get that. But, I still hate your team. I didn't troll. I did go on the Broad's feed the other day when they lost against the Diamondbacks. But I didn't do it to troll them or anything like that. All I said is that, what did I say? I was like, the Phillies, they played well. I did say let's go Mets because the Mets just beat the Angels. I did do that. But I don't go on somebody's channel and, act like an ass. I just said let's go Mets and said, look, the Phillies have been playing well. They became respectable, and at least it's going to be fun. That's all I said. Oh, you guys troll? Yeah, I don't troll. I have no reason to do that because I think that's a baby move. That's a baby move in my opinion. People do it on my channel. They can do it because I always fight back. But I don't see the point of doing that because it's not fair. It's just stupid to me. Like, that's a child's game when people troll. It makes no sense. So I don't appreciate that. So why should I do that on another channel? He has a good channel. He has his supporters, and I know Met fans will go on there. Maybe I'll send over an email, send over a quick message to him, and see if when the Mets face the Phillies, it's always have good perspective because it's not like I'm sitting here watching the Phillies every single day. Bros is, Jonathan is. So I get their information from them instead of just talking out of my ass because I don't like to do that. That's why I'm not saying, all I've done with the Brewers, in my opinion, is go over their stats and tell you them. That's it. So, all right. So Gary and Keith are in the booth today. No Ronnie. So they're talking right now. So the game's going to start 7:10. So we got a few more minutes. So I do like to probably get more perspective on other teams. Bros, he's legit. He knows what he's talking about. He's a diehard Philly through and through. So, maybe when the Mets face the Phillies, I'll get him. Or if he wants to come on my channel, whatever he wants to do, or I go on his channel, I don't mind that. I appreciate real fans. And as you guys know, I don't like fake fans. I like real fans. I don't like bandwagon fans. And as much as I don't like Philly and don't like their fans, you respect their fandom because they're diehards. And we appreciate that as New Yorkers because we are diehards too, even though we get at each other's throat every single day. And most of our teams are in the same division and same conference. So you're always going to be down with talking crap to one another because that's the whole point, right? That's why it's a lot of fun. I like the Philly cheesesteak, so I guess we got something going there, right? But I'm probably I think the Mets go to Philly one more time. I could be wrong about that. I think so. I hope they do because Citizen Bank Park is a nice ballpark, and it's always it's a nice area around there. The restaurants, the foods, the bars, and all that stuff. It is a good time. Even though they don't, they try to kick me out when I have a Met jersey on, but that's okay. I expect that. But you know what? I don't go in there acting a fool. Am I going to represent my team? Absolutely. But I'm not going to go into anybody's face and give them F-bombs for no apparent reason. So I think the Mets go back to Philly. If I'm wrong, or maybe at CitiField. I know we played them a lot at Citizens Bank already. If they do, it'd be nice. Jonathan, I know you go to the games a lot. If I do go to Philly, I'll hit you up and we can meet up, have a beer, and then curse each other out during the game. That's always fun. All right, Earl from Brooklyn, we like it. Yeah, July. It's a nice ballpark for a ballpark that's been around 17 years now, if I'm not mistaken. 18. It's been around since 06, 05. It's a nice ballpark. I just because I'm not a Phillies fan, I'm not going to lie about it. Just because I don't like the Phillies. Okay, John. Angel, I'm not worried about the Phillies. The only reason why I'm not worried about the Phillies anymore because we don't play them as much anymore, and it's hard to jump over two teams that are in front of you when the Phillies and Braves face each other a lot more, and the Phillies don't face the Mets as much anymore. So that's why it's hard to do that. Obviously, the Braves are a team that face you. If they face you 15 more times, it's going to come down to those games probably. So we'll see. 0989. Do you like the Brewers? The Brewers are a decent team. Their rotation, I think when they're running on all cylinders, they're one of the best in baseball. The problem is, your offense, you're not a young team anymore either. And that's the way I think Yelich is a guy that's not the same guy as he was with the Marlins. Obviously, Lorenzo Cain is not the same guy anymore either. You do got a good team. It's just I don't know if they just lost first place at the moment from the Cardinals, so they're a good team. I think their rotation can shut down anybody at any given moment. But if their rotation has problems, that's when they have problems as a whole. And that's why they've been 2-8 in the last 10. They haven't played well. That can always turn around. Every team goes through that stretch. It's just a matter of, can you turn it around quick enough where you don't bury yourself in the division. But again, the Central is not something to worry about with the Cardinals and the Brewers because of the fact that there's nobody else in your division that's going to challenge you guys. So, the only problem that the Brewers and the Cardinals have is that if they don't win their division, I don't think they're going to get a wild card team because of the Braves, the Mets, and the Phillies, and the Dodgers, the Padres, and the Giants. I can see 5 out of those 6 teams in the NL East and the West make the wild card and the division or get the wild card spots, and the Central will get left out and only get a division team. So we're still waiting for the game to start. Just waiting around, relaxing, enjoying this warm weather for once. Yeah, see, in the beginning, I thought the Braves and the Mets were going to make the playoffs, and 3 teams in the NL West, the Padres, Giants, and Dodgers. And I thought one other team, I thought the division winner was going to be, let me get back. The last time I talked about that was early June, when the Braves weren't playing well. I didn't think the Braves were going to make the playoffs. And I thought 2 teams from the Central, the Brewers and the Cardinals, and 3 teams from the West and the Mets are going to make the playoffs. But because the Braves have been playing well and you still got 3 teams in the NL West, it's going to be hard for 2 teams to come out of the NL Central. That's why I was saying that. So I thought the Brewers and the Cardinals were going to make was going to be in the playoffs because I think the Phillies that were playing so bad that I just think they didn't have, honestly, a shot to make the wild card. And the Braves were on the borderline, but I wasn't going to give them much because they weren't playing well either. So I'm expecting the NL Central to just get the division winner. But I don't. It's hard to see another team coming out of the Central because I don't think either team, the Cardinals or the Brewers, are a team that can be dominant the entire year. And you see with the Brewers, they struggle when their pitching doesn't do well. The Cardinals are a weird team. Sometimes they got pitching, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they got hitting, sometimes they don't. And, they got a pretty good lineup. But after Arenado and Goldschmidt, they don't really have a lineup after that. So that's the problem. So I do think the one team in the Central is going to, the division winner is going to be the only team making the playoffs out of the Central. Still waiting for the game. So it's going to start a little bit a little after 7:10. So I guess they're a little behind. But as you know, as always, guys, I'm going to put up the volume just now so you guys can make sure you guys can hear it. I'm going to set up everything ready to go. So just waiting for the game to start. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see why the Mets will get the wild card spot. I mean, look, it's pretty obvious that I think if the Phillies play better, and they can't play 500 ball, the Phillies, they're never going to make the playoffs that way. The Phillies have to play 10 to 50 games over 500 the rest of the way to get over the hump, at least to make a wild card spot. Yeah, I don't worry about Scherzer. Honestly, you know what? This 6 weeks or 5.5 weeks done for Scherzer is not pitch. You got to remember, Scherzer pitched a lot last year and didn't really get a break, and then they abused him in the Dodger series, and that's when he got the dead arm. These 5 weeks can't hurt Scherzer. He missed 5 weeks. What is that? What, four, almost 6 starts, and that's less wear and tear on his arm. Yeah, I don't. Like I said, I don't count on Degrom, but I do. I think finally they diagnosed him and what the problem was. So now they have the plan and the rehab of uh, what exactly the injury was. So they used the rehab that is needed for that type of injury. They finally figured that out. That's why I think it's different with Degrom now, because they finally know what the injury is and they finally use the right rehab for that type of injury. That's the problem with any player. If the player is not diagnosed properly, the rehab's not going to have a plan. The planned rehab is not going to be exactly for the proper injury. That's the problem with Degrom the last year or so. They didn't diagnose him well. So what were they rehabbing when they didn't know what the problem was? They directed the rehab based on the diagnosis they got now. They figured out what was wrong. It was the scapular, the what is it? This fracture, the whatever it was in his scapular. They figured it out and they got the proper rehab plan for that type of injury. It's a bone injury. It's not a ligament injury or a muscle injury. It's a bone. Bones heal. You give it rest. You give it the proper rehab. Bones heal. So you're not worried about that part. Yeah, of course, Chris Bassett is good. He's been good his entire, nearly the last couple of years. He's been very good. He was the best pitcher on the A's last year. He was better than Montas, so he is good. He struggles just like every other pitcher. They always go through a stretch. All right, guys. So here we go. Mets Brewers. Yelich is coming to the plate. Let me just make sure everybody can hear the game. Give me a yes if you guys can hear it. Clint, I would re-sign DeGrom. I think you have to.
And Yelich had both the back problem and a knee injury. There's Counsell trying to set some Brewers history tonight with a win. 24 home runs for Yelich in 2019, 27 in the 3 years since. First pitch of the night for Chris Bassett, a fastball in for a strike, and we're underway. Beautiful night for baseball. I should say it's still late afternoon here, it seems like. Sun's out. Well, we're getting toward the longest day of the year, Keith, which is only a week away. Yelich fouls back the fastball for Bassett at 0-2, so it might feel like it's late afternoon, but it's really early evening. So you're talking about the summer solstice? I think that you have to get back on the idea of Eastern Daylight Time. We were on Pacific time for so long.
That's 3 pitches, 3 strikes for Bassett. That's a great start.
To strike out Christian Yelich.
Well, interesting that Bassett comes out of the chute with 3 straight gas attacks. And quick work.
Sometimes I think, correct me if you think I'm wrong, I think that Bassett can.
Again, the reason why DeGrom
he throws so many
had problems coming back because the Mets never diagnosed him properly. So how are you going to rehab somebody when you don't know what the injury was? That's why I think it's different with this injury now, because they know what it is and they rehab it properly. Hey, Michael, remember talking Mets Rob? What's up?
And sometimes
Adames lifts one to shallow right center. And over comes Marte.
All right, 2 outs.
Nimmo to make the catch, and that's the second out.
Nimmo was calling all the way there. I think sometimes, Gary, when you really are going bad.
No, I think the back injury destroyed Yelich's career, unfortunately, because he's an MVP candidate every year. But that back, you've seen it with Manley. The back injuries are debilitating. So we're right. They're debilitating injuries. Frankie, remember talking about your Rob. What's up? Have a good day, buddy.
Go back to your basics and work your way from there.
Here's the enormous Rowdy Tellez. Picked up from Toronto last year. And he takes a fastball, so it's been all fastballs early
Nope.
on.
Bassett's already changing up what he usually do. A lot of all fastballs.
With his secondary pitches way inside the left-hand hitters.
Ooh, what a curveball. 71 miles an hour curveball. That was nasty. Very nasty.
Inside, I was just saying, his secondary pitches, he's been missing bad on that inside corner to the lefty, outside corner to the righty.
0-2 to Tellez. And he fouls it back. Another fastball up in the zone. This Brewer team can hit home runs. Tellez has 10 this year. The Brewers have 80 home runs, second in the National League, and yet they're only 11th in runs scored. Ground ball, 2
All right, looks like you're out of the inning. 1, 2, 3, and we are. All right, guys. So that was a nice inning by Bassett. Mostly all fastballs. So that's exactly what you want to see from Bassett there. He had problems in the early part of the game where he gave up a couple of runs here. And yeah, I don't like talking about, schedules for teams. Oh, they're playing bad teams. Everybody's going to play the same bad teams at some point in the year. Yes, the Braves have been beating up the Nationals, the Pirates, the A's, every bad team known to man, but the Phillies and the Mets are going to get that opportunity as well. The only difference is that you play them at different times, right? The Mets next month, on the next couple of months, play a lot of those teams that the Phillies and the Braves have already faced. The Cubs, the Pirates, the Marlins, the A's, all those teams the Mets still have to face. September is a lot of Pirates and the A's and the Cubs. So the Mets are going to have opportunity to get fat on those teams. And you know what? If you're a team that is having playoff aspirations, you have to beat up the bad teams. If you don't beat up the bad teams, you're not going to have a good year. So I don't like when people say, oh, the Mets, the Phillies, the Braves play bad teams. Even people talk about the Yankees. Their whole entire schedule was based on under 500 teams. They're finally facing playing a 13-game stretch when they got the Astros, the Blue Jays, and the Rays. It really doesn't matter to me about schedule because every team has to beat up on bad teams if you're good. So I don't like when people talk about that. I don't care that the Braves won 12 straight because they faced bad teams. It doesn't matter to me. The whole point is winning those games, because if you don't win those games, you're not winning anything. So here we go, guys. Bottom of the first. Bassett looked good in the top of the first. See if the Mets put some runs on the board early against the Brewers, because obviously the Mets get him early, get out Hauser early, and then get the game started and they put some doubt in their heads right now. 2-18 in the last 10. You put doubts. Big difference when you're playing a game and you have a tie game and giving the team hope. You don't want to give them hope at all. Here we go, guys. Bottom first. Mets coming up. No score.
3.22 ERA started part of a powerhouse Milwaukee Brewers pitching staff. Brandon Nimmo leads off and takes a sinker for a strike.
That's his bread and butter pitch for him is that sinker. And sinker ball pitchers like to throw that ball away, down the way to left-handers.
Also right on the corner at the knees. Right at it to the home plate umpire. Judge just strike, and it's 0-2.
He's got velocity on that sinker, too.
Velocity this year on his fastball, 94.3. And he comes up and in at 97. That's a four-seamer, and it's 1-2.
It's a good pitch, 0-2.
There's your umpiring team. Ryan Addington, Edwin Moscoso, the young umpire.
I just put the lineup for the Mets and the pitching matchup on the bottom of the screen, guys, if you missed it.
And we'll watch this breaking ball down, and it's 2-2.
And this has become the theme for this.
Hey, Donovan, what's up? Ken, how you doing, buddy?
They are tough. 2 strike outs. They battle and make official work. But not being a little pin hitter. They're up there aggressive.
Come on, Brandon, let's go.
A little dribbler off the line, and that'll go foul.
No problem, James. How you doing, buddy?
Defense on the infield. This is a team that has made 39 errors on the season so far.
The difference between this team and last year's team, the Mets had under 3 runs per game. The Mets have a 6 run per game. and a run differential nearing 80 runs compared to last year when it was only like 6. That's why this team's a lot better. And they're doing it without Scherzer and DeGrom. Colorado, Joe. Colorado.
2-2 coming, and Nimmo fouls off the fastball. Can you do 4? No. 4. No.
There's Big Pete. Looks like he got a little haircut.
Well, there's lots of things you do on off days. You do laundry, you get haircuts. And Nimmo hit that almost out of the catcher's glove. To keep the at-bat alive.
That was a very
Nimmo already 7 pitches in the at-bat. Once again, the Mets do that well.
Learned on that high pitch to take a level hack at it. Now, if you drop that back shoulder, you swing up, you're going to be under it, and you're not going to catch up to it. To keep the shoulders parallel to the ground, it makes you a good high ball hitter.
8th pitch of this opening at-bat up coming from Hauser to Nimmo. And he misses
All right, full
outside
count.
the
What else is
changeup.
new with Nimmo?
From 0-2.
8 pitches in this at-bat so far. What the Mets do well.
How often have we seen that from Nimmo and from countless Mets hitters this year, going from 0-2 to 3-2?
Oh, yeah. That's in the gap. That's at least a double. He's going. All right, that's a lead-off double for Nimmo. There we go. 9 pitch at-bat right there. Good start for the Mets. Again, that's what the Mets do so well. Run up the pitch count early and follow up so many pitches.
Got him to make a mistake, finally. Fought off the tough pitches and then got one over.
Good start, good start. That's what I like to see.
Choked up with Brandon is choking up 2-3 inches on the bat. He stands right on top of the plate.
Thought for a moment he might
Director, what's up, buddy? Over 8? I like that call.
Right field, and so with nobody out, Lucette's taking a chance, and Nimmo stops at second. So here's Starling Marte, who's faced the Brewers plenty in his career, having played most of his career in the National League Central. And he's hit more home runs and has more RBIs against the Brewers than he has against any other team. 16 home runs, 58 runs batted in his career against Milwaukee. Marte, his 3
Come on,
games
Starling,
with
let's
a
go.
quad injury, came back on Sunday, had a couple of hits, a double, drove a run. Looks like he never left. It looked like he was running well. And the fastball just misses low, ball and a strike.
It's funny, I was just talking about high pitches with Nimmo. I had a little talk with Marte in Anaheim.
Well, if Edwin Diaz pitches as well as he has, I think he's going to, get around $15-16 million. That's like the going rate for closers, right? So,
Slider in the dirt, 2-1.
no, man, I appreciate the super sticker, buddy. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Baez known more for his bat than his
Thank you, Donovan. Let's go. Get that like button up, guys. Let's go. 150 is the goal tonight, guys. Let's go.
On Marte.
Take a second to hit on that like button.
Hauser, like Bassett, has had issues lately. He's given up 5 runs in 2 of his last 3 starts. And
Marte hits a grounder to third. I don't know what that was, and he couldn't make the play. So that might be an error on the third baseman, but maybe. But we got first and second, nobody out.
We're going to see how they rule this. I mean, it should be an 8-5.
It'll be a base hit.
And it's all,
Yeah, he's tripped before he got the ball, so it's definitely, I don't know what, he just tripped. So it's a base hit for Marte. First and second, nobody out.
Peterson, former Brave, jack of all trades for this Brewers team. Only it's Luis Urias playing
Exactly,
third,
Angel.
with Colton Wong out.
What that did,
Urias
that made the
second.
third baseman rush there because Marte was running.
Time at third base.
this is the team. The
Met
Brewers
man,
do not
great
shift
to be back
very
home,
much.
baby.
You can see that they're not shifting
Love it.
here.
Let's go,
Here's
Frankie.
Lindor.
Frankie's been struggling a little bit.
Struggled during the road
So
trip
let's see if he
after
can,
missing the one game with
get
a
it going
fractured
here.
finger. He takes slider down for ball 1. Lindor just 6 for 38 on the road trip. He's playing, but you have to wonder how much that finger's bothering him. 245 now for the year. Think about all the things that happened to the Mets.
All right, 2-0. Again, already 15 pitches in the inning for Hauser and no outs in the first. So already causing issues with the pitcher already.
Once again, the Mets are putting the pressure on the starting pitcher right out of the chute. You've got Hauser now, who's thrown maybe 3
Thank you, Angel.
breaking balls, not one close to a strike. That's something as a hitter you always look for. Keep an eye on. That's why take your eye off the iPad.
There it is, guys. There's your reminder to hit on that like button. If you just tuned in, if you just haven't hit it yet, hit on that like button, guys. Let's go.
Early before you get him, before he finds it.
Demo at second, Marte at first, 2-1 to Lindor as a fastball.
All right, 3-1. There we go.
This is a Brewers team that is highly dependent on getting good starting pitching. When they don't, it's hard for them to win because their offense has struggled so badly. That's how they lost 8 games.
Good hitter's count for Frankie right here.
In that 8-game losing streak.
Running out. That's going to be hard. And he does get him at first, but second and third, Lindor with a productive out, got the 2 runners over. That was a close play. I think he was out, but we'll see. They're checking it right now. All right, so 1 out, second and third. Pete Alonso coming up.
Well, he double clutched here, didn't he? Had a tough time on the exchange, and it almost cost
Good
him
hustle
there.
by Lindor right there.
Had to throw on the run. Oh boy!
Beat him, just made it.
Now,
That ball just beat him by a step. All right, Pete. Keep that excellent season going on at home right now. Let's go.
With 2 home runs, so no ill effects there. The infield will play back. They'll concede a run on a ground ball. Team leading the National League in home runs with 18 and an RBI.
18 pitches so far for Hauser. We're 1 out.
Lays off first pitch slider. Narvaez's got enough of it to keep it in the neighborhood. Ball 1.
geez, another breaking ball Garrett had missed.
Well, he's done a great job getting a runner in from third with less than 2 out. The Mets have already had nearly as many sacrifice flies this year as they had all of last year. And a very different story in terms of putting
Come on,
the ball
Pete, let's
into
go.
play in RBI
Get it started.
situations.
There we go. That's a base hit. That's 1 run. There we go. That's a good start. 1-0 Mets. First and third, 1 out. 28th pitch for Hauser. Pete Alonso continues to be hot in this Mets team. Playing like an MVP of the National League right now. Excellent.
He gets it over the middle. Down, but not away enough. Look at Pete.
I agree, Michael. Plate discipline has been amazing.
Big stride.
You know, the Mets are one of the lowest strikeout teams in baseball. I don't think they're number 1, but they're in the top 5 for sure. That's a big difference than last year as well. Hey, home run. What's up, buddy?
Drive got through the infield. Didn't want to get doubled up. He did the right thing. Once you hesitate like that, I don't care how fast you are, you got to hold up. That's the right base running. Good base running.
1 out of the inning, so Sets taking a chance. Now fly ball could bring it a run with Jeff McNeil coming up. Chris Hope, the pitching coach, after an early visit with Hauser, who gave up 5 runs in 6 innings. His last
Mets have a
against the Phillies,
30-7 record
loss.
scoring first this season. Excellent record. 23 games over 500.
Tonight. Now McNeil has had multiple hit games, 3 of his last 4 games. Stands third in the
go,
National
Jeff.
League with that 320 average.
Break open this game nice and early tonight.
Double play depth. Marte at third, Alonso at first, and McNeil takes a fastball upstairs for ball 1.
Now, they look at Urias at second base. He is going to have a heck of a hard time getting over the balls hit to the shortstop's right. He's not going to get to second base. So that eliminates the double play.
Can't get that pitch over for a strike. And Pete Alonso gets his second base on the pass ball. Nice. 2 minutes scoring position for Jeff McNeil.
Another bad breaking ball, missing badly.
Breaking ball, the catcher couldn't handle it. Pete Alonso takes off for second, giving the Mets 2 minutes scoring position with 1 out, and Jeff McNeil in a hitter's count.
So now once the Brewers play their infield with second and third, 1 out, they're going to have to bring him in already down 1-0.
22 pitches for Hauser. He is struggling. Infield is in for the Brewers.
Not having a very productive offense.
I still wouldn't. Because you can break out.
Ball 3 for Jeff McNeil. All right.
That's 3-0 to McNeil.
This guy might not last very long on the mound.
The base is set up to double play with Escobar coming up.
I'd give Jeff a hit sign. He's hot.
And he hits it up the middle, gets off the glove. Go, 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 go. Alonso stays at third, and McNeil gets his second base. Yes! 2-0 Mets. The Bad News Bears are playing the infield for the Milwaukee Brewers. Bounces off the pitcher's glove, goes past the second baseman. Mets score another run. Alonso stays at third base, and McNeil gets the second base on the Bad News Bears defense at the moment for the Brewers. So excellent. Once again, the hustle is real. A little bouncer off the plate, hits off the pitcher's glove, goes past the second baseman who was playing in, and there it goes, guys. The Mets find a way to get more infield hits. Again and again. They lead the league in infield hits as well. So, 2 men on, 2 men in scoring position, 1 out. Escobar at the plate, 2-0 Mets. In the bottom of the first, 25 pitches for Hauser for the Brewers. The Mets are putting it on them early, putting the doubts in the Brewers' mind already. Let's go.
Escobar, the former Brewer, hitless in his last 8 at-bats. They're heading for a cycle in San Diego last week. Hauser keeps missing inside with that fastball 2-0.
Well, keep an eye on Marte. It's not a contact play. He's frozen. He's not.
Yeah, so far the infield's been terrible for the Brewers. The catcher can't catch a ball. The pitcher can't throw a strike.
Saying tonight, Hauser just has no command at all right now.
Well, this they put him behind the 8 ball right off the get-go. 27 pitches.
Well, you go back to that opening at bat by Nimmo, which sets the tone for the whole inning. Down 0-2, fighting off some really tough pitches, hitting one almost out of a catcher's glove before doubling to get this whirlwind started.
Ball 3. All right. Good at-bats all around for the Mets in the first inning.
Able to throw anything where he wants to.
His secondary pitches are didn't get on the bus with him.
Some movement in the Brewers bullpen, which is expected with 28 pitches in the first.
Escobar played for the Brewers last year after coming over from Arizona late in the season. The Brewers get to the postseason for the 4th straight year.
That's why you gotta break open this game early and not give him any hope.
3-1 to Escobar. And he
swings at a bad pitch low. Escobar was swinging for the fences there.
Escobar, big road trip, despite the most recent 0-for-8.
Director needs the money line.
Into the cycle.
James, thank you, buddy. I appreciate it.
Against in Anaheim by Jared Walsh. Not sure I've ever seen 2 cycles in a week.
I have not.
3-2 with Guillorme on deck. Hauser could really use a strikeout. He's not a big strikeout pitcher.
Escobar pops it up. It looks like it's deep enough for a sac fly. It will be. Alonso will score. 3-0 Mets. Another productive out for the Mets. Nice. 3-0. Again, the problem with the Mets last year in running to the scoring position, couldn't get the runner over, couldn't get sac flies, struck out too much. The Mets put the bat on the ball. Productive outs can change a team around, and that's what the Mets have done this year. Another productive out for the Mets, and Escobar with the RBI sac fly. 3-0 Mets. 2 outs in the first. Man still on second. A man still in scoring position with Luis Guillorme coming up. Good start.
287 average with runners in scoring position. It all adds up to a team that's been able to score runs without hitting a ton of home runs. That's a 10th in the league in home runs, but second in runs scored.
Maybe it'll be a trend.
Maybe. Here's Guillorme. I mean, if you look at these two teams, right, the Mets are doing it kind of an old-fashioned way, stringing hits together, putting the ball in play, driving in runs without home runs. The Brewers are the absolute opposite.
The Mets are 10th in home runs, but every other offensive category, they're third or better in baseball. Or in the NL, excuse me.
He's sitting 327 for the year. Getting another start at second base tonight with Canning getting the nod on. He'll play left field. 3 runs in the first inning matches the most the Mets have had in the first inning this year. They've done that 6 separate times now. McNeil at second with 2 down.
Guillorme, foul ball.
1 and 2.
And of all the hitters in the Mets lineup, Guillorme is the one that fights off the most pitches. McNeil's right there with him, and Nimmo. But these are the kind of pesky little hitters the Mets put up there.
I agree, Michael, 100%.
There's Eric Chavez, head coach. They all have seemed to be responding to him.
He's going to be pretty proud of what this team has run through the first 62-plus games. 1-2 to Guillorme.
Guillorme chops it, foul.
One of the 11 players in the majors so far this year with more walks than strikeouts. And he had more walks than strikeouts last year as well.
Remember that? Was it 0 for 14 start he got off to in April?
Yeah, and then he shaved the beard.
Yes. And grew it right back.
The dirt and Narvaez is able to kick that
over 30 pitches for Hauser right now. Just 35 pitches so far. Come on, guys. Mets leading 3-0. We got 162 in the stream right now. 70 likes. Let's get to 150. Hit on that like button, guys, if you haven't as of yet. Let's go.
1 through 7. I mean, Plummer's unknown. He's hitting in the 8th hole. And Nito, he's no slouch. He's been hitting in the clutch.
Guillermo takes a ball full count. So McNeil will be running. A base hit will score him because he will be running on the pitch. Nick Plummer on deck.
25 more this year than all of last year. I think that tells a big story right there.
Yep. And it always drives me crazy. It's an easy RBI, and it's hitters today make it so difficult.
3-2 coming. Guillorme bounces
grounds at the first.
At first.
And they get out of the inning. 3-0 Mets. 3 runs in the first. Excellent offensive performance in the first inning for the Mets. Going to the top of the second, Mets lead 3-0. Nice start for the Mets to give Bassett a lead. You know, the last couple of Bassett starts, Bassett has been giving up runs early, and the Mets have been behind in his starts, but now he has a lead. Let's see what he can do with it. Pitched very well in the top of the first, but he has sat down for a long time. About 20 minutes or so, this half inning went for the Mets. So Chris Bassett has been sitting a while, and that usually sometimes can be a bad thing for a pitcher. But pitched well in the top of the first. Let's see if he can do it again. Lane McCann will be back soon. He's going on a rehab assignment in the next couple of days or so. Yeah, Joseph, that's a good call. You know, Ozzy Albies, that's a big loss for the Braves. You know, he's, the top of that lineup. He's a passionate guy. You know, he's one of the guys that's trying to be a leader on that team. That's a big deal. Yeah, Terry, I think Bassett's just having a bad stretch. You know, pitchers go through that, Even the best of them go through that. I'm not too worried about Bassett. He'll figure it out. He's a veteran. He'll be okay. He just went through a rough stretch. The best pitcher in baseball can go through a rough stretch every now and then. It happens. But that is a good call, Joseph, about that. With the fractured foot of Ozzy Albies, that's a huge loss for the Braves. Even though they're playing well right now, that is a huge loss. And you can't replace an Ozzy Albies with somebody like Ozzy Albies. That's just hard to do. He's their everyday second baseman. He's the guy at the top of their order that does damage. He's got some power, got speed. You take that out of the lineup, it hurts. Terry, no problem. Well, Bueller's, who knows what's wrong with Bueller? He's going to be out a while, and they don't even know what's exactly wrong with him. Who knows? I mean, Bueller can be out a couple of months, and that's going to hurt the Dodgers as well, especially with Kershaw. You don't really know how you can trust. All right, guys, Bassett, 3-0 Mets, top of the second.
Luis Arias leads off for the second. He takes the pitch high for Chris Bassett, and we check in with Steve Young. Steve?
Gary, with Father's Day just around the corner this Sunday, it's time for our annual interview.
Hey, they're talking to Steve Cohen,
who is the founder and chairman of the Prostate Cancer Foundation. And this one, standing directly to his left, is the boss, Steve Cohen. If he says, hey, I'm going to come on the air as well, we don't fight him on that. So, Steve,
we'll be in the neighborhood, so I figured I'd show up.
There you go. So we'll get to you in just 1 second. But, Michael, this is something that you've been doing for years and years and years in Major League Baseball.
26 years. What a pleasure to be here in CitiField with the first place Mets. That's what I.
What do you want people to know about this program that you guys run every June?
Well, the first thing we want them to know is that we want to keep Dad in the game. So get a simple blood test for prostate cancer, and that was the idea of this program. Come out to the ballpark, youngest friend you can find, and remind them to get that simple blood test for prostate cancer early warning system. Now, 26 years later, we raised $70 million from home runs, and there's 20 new treatments, and there's 3.5 million men who've had prostate cancer who are going to be joining a healthy Father's Day this Sunday with their families.
It's fantastic stuff, and Steve, as his youngest friend in the game, it's pretty obvious when you hear those numbers why this is such an important cause, but why is it so important for the Mets to support this cause and bring awareness to it?
Well, I mean, it affects 1 out of 8 males, right? I mean, it's so important that males get screened over 40. And we're just so happy to support Mike and his foundation. He's doing incredible things. And so we're thrilled that he's here today.
Now, Steve, since we have you here, if you don't mind, I just want to ask you a question or two about the club. Obviously, you have things in your mind about how a season will go when you put a group of players together, management, all of that. But especially with the injuries that you guys have sustained, what has impressed you the most about what this team has been able to do?
Well, I mean, we've had a lot of injuries, and
that should be 2 outs,
we find
and it is.
And it just shows you the character of this team and the quality of the depth. I'm excited, and but let's not get too excited. We still got a long way to go.
All right, just not to get too excited, but just between you and me, there's nobody's watching right now. You want to give us a return date on Jake and Scherzer?
Well, what I will say is, they're going at their own pace, and I'm hopeful Max will be back a little bit sooner, and Jake will be back when he's ready.
Year 2 as the owner, and you know exactly how to play it. Steve Cohen, thank you so much, and Michael.
So, home run challenge, and we want you to know, bring your kids to the ballpark. This is a fantastic place to see the game, isn't it? And CitiField, wonderful place to be. We're hoping for a lot of home runs, and we look forward to Father's Day wearing our blue.
100%. Michael Milken, thanks for the work you do. Keep it up. And Gary, we will now sit back to you guys.
By the way, Max Scherzer's throwing a simulated game here at CitiField on Thursday, which is a huge development. And
if you didn't hear, Scherzer is pitching a simulated game on Thursday, which is really good news.
If that's feasible or not. That's going to get both those guys back by the All-Star break or slightly after. That would be great. Anything sooner would be a huge bonus.
You just just saw Max in the dugout. I think Max is important that he's in that dugout, in that clubhouse. He is such a positive influence, and his intensity, it rubs off.
Well, he spoke to reporters before the game today, and your name came up.
I know, I saw that.
Said, I'd rather be with my team than watching on TV. I've gotten to know Keith Hernandez quite a bit.
You got to listen to me more. I hope that's a positive. I don't know.
Could go either way.
I don't want him coming up here in the booth.
Let's go, Chris.
68 years old. I can't handle him.
Pull a little Milton Bradley on you. 2-2 coming. Breaking ball hit out to right field. Back goes Marte onto the warning track. He'll have room.
All right. Got it out of the inning. A little bit of scare. Looked like it could have been a home run, but got out of the inning. 1-2-3. Nice 2 innings for Bassett so far. Mets still lead 3-0 going to the bottom of the second. Nice start for Bassett so far. Bring up that Mets offense again and get more runs on the board. Make this a nice, easy-going game for us. That would be very nice. And listen, it's huge for Bassett to get back to what we know he could be like he was in the first month and a half of the season for the Mets. I see a couple of people talking about possible Subway Series. Yeah, again, you got the two best baseball teams in the league in New York, the Mets and the Yankees. Again, I actually like a New York team to have their own spotlight in the World Series. I think it takes away from both teams if they're in it. Because let's be honest, nobody cares outside. Again, I don't care about the other parts of the country, but I like one team to get all the spotlight in the World Series. Yes, it will be fun for us if it's a Subway Series. Obviously, as a Met fan, I want revenge for 2000. I think if Timo Perez would actually ran when Taziel hit that ball off the wall in left field of Yankee Stadium and would have scored, that changed the whole momentum of the entire series, in my opinion. And that, I think, basically cost the Mets a World Series because I thought that was the turning point of the series when Timo Perez didn't run on 2 outs when Taziel hit the ball that Timo Perez thought was going to be a home run. And for some reason, just watched the ball instead of running. He should have scored easily and did not, and got thrown out at the plate. That changed the whole momentum of the series, in my opinion. And I think that cost us. I think if the Mets would have scored and they played well in that game, and unfortunately, other than, giving up base hits to Luis Sojo is, the biggest problem to give the Mets the World Series loss. You always want that revenge. But I like the team to have their own spotlight, even though Subway Series would be fun. So we're going to the bottom of the second. Mets lead 3-0. Let's see if the Mets can continue to get to Hauser, who's still in the game, who pitched around 37 pitches in the first. Nick Plummer is leading off for the Mets.
To the bottom of the second, Nick Plummer will lead off. Plummer DHing tonight.
Once again, guys, before this inning starts, hit on that like button, guys. We're almost at 100. We have 89 likes. Let's get over 100. Goal is 150 tonight.
Outfielders whose skills are fairly similar. Lee was brought up as a hitch, but Starling Marte pulled his quad.
Yeah, you got the Benitez blown save in the ninth. You got Timo Perez not scoring in game 2. That sucked.
Playing time tonight at the expense of J.D. Davis, who's been swinging red hot bat.
And I was in
Khalil Lee hit a very, very
8th grade
line drive opposite field home run in California.
when the Mets made the World Series.
First big league home run.
It was an impressive opposite gap power.
Hey, Marcus, what's up?
Line drive off his bat.
Of course, Plummer made his mark, his very first start in the big leagues with a tying home run of the ninth. Gets a break.
Plummer hits a shot to center. It doesn't look like it's going to carry enough. Oh, got to the warning track while that ball carried, but 1 out.
Boy, does Hauser need a 1-2-3 inning.
Hauser threw 37 pitches in the first inning. We went back and looked, Keith. It's the 11th time this year that the Mets have forced the opposing starter to throw at least 30 pitches in the first inning. So it's 11 times in 63 games that they've done that. And has an enormous impact, not only in the first inning, but going forward.
Of course, particularly in today's game, because the pitcher can settle down after a tough first inning.
Tomas Nido at the plate, bottom second, 3-0 Mets, 1 out.
But today, that's not happening.
And not just that, but, with a team like the Brewers, the back end of their bullpen is fabulous, right? They have Josh Hader, maybe the best closer in the game at this point, pitching in the
Oh,
ninth.
game 4, yeah. Leadoff home run.
He was almost unhittable.
That was
Mossberger was really good.
Yeah, Plummer just got under that ball. Got it to the warning track, though. Hit that ball, 390 feet? 380?
They get a pretty good chance on beating up against the underside of their bullpen, and that's true of so many teams. Tomas Nido tonight is starting his 5th consecutive game. It's the first time in his career that he started this many in a row. Now, there were a couple of off days sprinkled in there, Thursday and again yesterday, which is why that's happened. But it gives you an idea of the kind of confidence that Buck is showing in Nido in the absence of James McCann.
Well, Nito's been hot. Remember, he got his batting average over 250.
Come on, Tomas, let's go.
And now coming into the game at 245, but he's been very good in the clutch.
Goes after a sinker, and it's 2-2. Meanwhile, McCann, rehabbing from the broken hamate bone, might be ready to go out on a rehab assignment as early as the end of this week. So he's getting closer.
All right, ground ball up the middle. Second baseman's going to make the play. Yes, he is. 2 outs. Well, I think Nito's a solid catcher, and he gets enough playing time. He's a guy that can bat 260. And, he's been clutch this year and been very clutch in big spots this year for the Mets.
So he's going to be out for at least a month or two.
Brandon Nimmo coming up with 2 outs.
Braves have just been clobbering opposition teams. And they've been fortunate too, right? Tonight they were supposed to face Steven Strasburg, but Strasburg, after making 1 start, goes right back on the injured list. And so they're facing a first-time starter, Jackson Tetreault, and the Braves have a 2-0 lead in the 3rd. Dansby Swanson, who's just been raging hot in a home run in the 1st inning tonight. Change up for a strike to Nimmo, 1-1.
Once again, guys, bottom of the 2nd. Mets lead 3-0. Don't forget to hit on that like button. I know you guys are there that not have hit that like button as yet. Let's go, guys.
So are the Phillies. They have their 9-game winning streak stopped on Sunday. Then last night they rallied to win again after Sandy Alcantara held them in check for 7 2/3. They got a run in the 8th. And then Rhys Hoskins drove in the game-winning run in the bottom of the 9th. This was unbelievable to me, Keith. It was the first walk-off RBI of Rhys Hoskins' career.
Really?
Yeah. Think about how many chances he must have had over the course of the last half dozen years.
Good streak hitter.
Takes it the high strike. It's 3-2. Charlie Marte on deck.
Let's go, Brandon. Keep it going in this inning.
Just got a piece of that one to keep the at-bat alive. That's what he did in his first at-bat. Got the 3-2, fouled off some tough pitches.
Oh, that's cool, guys. I love all the story in 2000 with you guys.
Easily done, and that is he can take that pitch that he knows he's beat on and take a really ugly defensive swing, and then he follows it up like he did the first at bat with a double in the gap, where he just rips it.
And Nimmo takes strike 3, going to the top of the 3rd. Mets lead 3-0. So that was a better inning for Hauser, 1-2-3. Mets didn't get no runs there, but Bassett coming back on the mound in the top of the 3rd. Mets lead 3-0. So yeah, it was pretty cool talking about the 2000 Mets and Yankees run. I mean, both teams were dominant that year. It was looking like a collision course, and of course, the Mets beating the Cardinals. Mets beating the Giants. Geraldo, thank you for checking in while you're working. Before you leave, hit on that like button. Yeah, Swanson's no joke right now. He's been great during this winning streak for the Braves. But yeah, it's definitely it was a lot of fun in 2000. Again, I was in 8th grade, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I was in 8th grade because I started high school in 2001. I was in 8th grade when the Mets made the World Series. I didn't go to any games. I went to a couple of playoff games, but I didn't go to any of the World Series games. But, yeah, Benitez blown a game in Game 1. Timo Perez not running to the plate after Taziel hit the ball off the wall in Game 2. It changed the entire series for sure. And similar to what happened in 2015 World Series, Familia trying to quick pitch and caused us to lose Game 1, and then Game 2 was a disaster for the Mets. But it's looking like a collision course for the Mets and the Yankees. But again, anybody can get picked off in the playoffs. The Yankees haven't got over the hump since 2009. They haven't made the World Series since 2009. The Mets made the World Series in 2015. So, look, I think the Yankees have an easier path in the American League to get to the World Series than the Mets have a tough path to the World Series. The Dodgers, the Padres, the Braves, the Phillies, possibly, the Giants. So it will be tough. All right, guys, top of the third, Mets lead 3-0. Let's see if Bassett can continue how he did in the first 2 minutes.
Nice.
Once again, guys, hit on that like button. If you're just tuning in or just hasn't hit that like button yet, let's go.
The Brewers swing at fewer first pitches than any team in the majors. And Bassett has gone right after them in every at-bat to get first pitch strikes. I mean, look at that. Lowest first pitch swing rate, third lowest swing rate, third lowest chase rate, and they're looking to hit fly balls.
And a power hitting team, you wouldn't think there would be that kind of a low percentage of chase.
But that's, they're in that game plan, right? The Sandy Alderson game plan for years was walks and home runs, right? That's what this organization, the Mets organization, aspired to for a long time.
All right, Chris, let's go. 26 pitches for Bassett so far, starting the third inning. So good pitch count so far for Bassett.
He's got 10 home runs on the year.
And that looks like the first hit of the ball game. No, Nimmo with a diving catch. Woo! What a play by Nimmo. I think that's the best catch I've ever seen Nimmo make. What a play. That's a highlight reel. What, Jim? Wow. What a catch. He had to take off there, man. What a play. Nice play. He was shaded to right field a little bit, too. Excellent play by Nimmo.
Laid out. Wonderful catch. Been very much appreciated by Mr. Bassett. That would have been maybe 3.
All right, ground ball.
The second one comes up and hits him, but the home plate umpire, Brian Addison, said he was in foul territory when it hit him. And that is not a challengeable call, much as Buck might have wanted to challenge it.
If it hits him in foul territory, then the ball is in foul territory.
It's not where his body is, it's where the ball hits him.
Yep.
It's close to the line.
And he's trying to get out of the way. He's still in the
All right,
box,
0-2
too.
pitch. Let's see what we can get through here.
Slapped the other way over the bag and just out.
Foul ball.
Peterson almost out himself to hit that way. Jace Peterson, we've seen him with Braves and the Padres, among others. Now his third year in Milwaukee. A jack of all trades. Football player at McNeese State.
Ground ball. That's the first hit of the game for the Brewers. Past the shortstop in the shift that the Mets are playing. So a 1-out base hit for the Brewers. Got the first hit of the ball game by Jace Peterson. High fastball. Got on top of it. Level swing.
Deep, and that's able to hit the ball to the opposite field. The ball out.
All right, Chris, let's get out of the inning. Let's go.
Now Tyrone Taylor hitting 9th in the order. This Brewers team still has Lorenzo Cain, but Kane is at a point in his career where he can still run, but he really has not hit much at all. So Taylor has got most of the reps in center field. It's been very hot and cold for Craig Counsell. A great month of May, but he's just 5 for 35 in June. Peterson at first, 8 stolen bases this year. He's not been caught.
This looks like double play ball. Double play. Nice.
6-4-3 double play.
Beautiful.
Bassett faced the minimum through 3.
All right, guys. So Chris Bassett got the double play he needed. Going to the bottom of the third, 3-0 Mets with an incredible catch in left center by Brandon Nimmo, getting the first out of the game. Of the inning. Laid out, didn't care about his body, put it on the line, made a nice diving catch in left center field, preventing a double at the very least, possible triple. Mets get out of the inning, going to the bottom of the third, 3-0 Mets. Yeah, I was thinking about it too, honestly, Angel. I'm not going to lie. After Nimmo made that catch, I'm like, there's always one great play that in a game when there's a no-hitter going on. It always happens. But didn't happen. Now we just worry about the win. Lane, I'm thinking about going tomorrow, but again, I fly out on Thursday to Vegas, so I might need a little bit of rest. But I'm thinking about it. You know, I have a ticket, obviously. I sold my ticket today to a friend. You know, for a couple of bucks because I just didn't feel like going. And I do got to work tomorrow. So maybe I'll go, maybe not. I'll see. You know, I still haven't fully packed yet. It's kind of like right there. Right now, my suitcase kind of have like 4 things in it. That's fine. Again, it doesn't matter what the Braves do. If the Mets win, it's just another game off the schedule for the Mets. You know, too many people are concerned about what the Braves are doing. If the Mets take care of business, the Braves can't catch us. You know, yeah, we're not going to gain a game on them, but they're not gaining the game on us. It'll stay at 5. So, you know, what it will do, it will gain a game on the Phillies, who are losing right now. You know, all you got to do is knock games off the schedule. That's all you got to do. Again, the Mets continue to take series. It's very hard to catch a team that continues to win series. So here we go, guys. Bottom of the third. Starler Marte leading off the bottom of the third. Let's see if the Mets can get some more runs for Bassett.
4 with Miami. It's amazing that it's the 14th of June and the Mets still have not played the Marlins this year. There's going to be a lot of Miami on the schedule for the last 3.5 months. Marte chases a first pitch slider from Adrian Hauser, 0-1. Marte had infield hit. Hit it to the left side of the infield. Jace Peterson fell down trying to grab it, and Marte was able to beat it.
Thomas, what's up, buddy? Thomas, I'm supposed to be going to Oakland. I'm hoping to go into Oakland. I bought the 7-line ticket, so I already got the hotel. I'm working on the plane, the flight there. Pretty good chance I'm going. I'm about to say about 90%. Adrian Hauser for the Brewers is pitching tonight.
He played on a travel team with Archie Bradley and Dylan Bundy. So they got 3 big league pitchers all on the same 12-year-old travel team. I think the other team ever got a hit.
All right, start it off. Let's go.
And if it were not for the Mets, Adrian Hauser would never be a Brewer. Because in July of 2015, the Mets made the trade for Carlos Gomez.
Yes.
Wilmer Flores tears night. And then the Mets negated the trade because they didn't like the way Gomez's physical looked.
And Marte strikes out.
And so the Astros then picked up Gomez from the Brewers in exchange for, among others, Adrian Hauser.
Tahlequah. Let's see where the heck that is in Oklahoma.
Brewer takes a changeup for a strike. Francisco with a slow ground ball to short and was thrown out his first time up. 3 infielders on the right side this time. They did not shift against Lindor in his first at bat.
Lindor bunts down the third base line. That's going to be a base hit. Smart hitting by Lindor. Struggling a little bit. Get on base. Saw the third baseman shifting. Nice bunt by Lindor to get on base for 1 out. That's the difference with Lindor this year. He knows he's struggling. Just get on base. Get on base in front of Lindor. In front of Alonso. That's what he's got to do, and he did that very well. That's a way to get out of a slump for sure. Let's go, Pete.
The mistake a lot of guys make is that they run up as though they're dragging the bunt as opposed to just squaring, which if you have speed especially, it's all you have to do is get it down. So the Mets have a 1-out base runner for Alonso.
Come on, Pete.
Pete singled to drive in the first Met run tonight. His 58th run batted into the year. Pete's now got an 8-game hitting streak going. I was thinking today about how much immense good fortune Pete has had this year. Going back to rolling his truck before spring training and then getting hit in the face twice and then getting hit in the hand in San Diego. And with all of that,
Let's go, Pete.
He's missed 1 game this year. I mean, it's just amazing how resilient he has been in the face of things that could have crushed his season. Snap throw by Narvaez and the door back easily.
You could say the same thing for Lindor.
Yeah.
I mean, not the traffic accident.
Well, he got hit in the face.
Yes, and his fractured finger, and he didn't come out of the lineup. He and Tina have been on 1-2 or leading the team in games played. They're out there every
Let's go,
day.
Pete.
Well, all I can say is thank God for seatbelts, roll bars, and C-flaps. Because without them, this could be an entirely different season for the Mets.
Paying a lot of attention to Francisco Lindor at first. Throw over from the catcher. Pitch is thrown over twice already. They don't want to pitch to Alonso.
Lindor 8 stolen bases this year in 10 tries.
Come on, Pete. Let's go.
See the inside of that C-flap that protected Pete twice this year.
Ball 2.
Like catcher's mask. He knows when a catcher gets a foul tip, it does protect their face from contact, but it still hurts. That C-flap is going to protect it. If you get hit smack dab in the middle of that C-flap, it's going to hurt a little bit, but it's certainly
There'd be a lot worse pain than a broken jaw.
correct.
Oh,
Or teeth getting knocked out.
Pete's going to look for something over the plate and it goes outside. Well, Ryan, that might be true about August with the Braves and the Phillies. It will be decided. I don't really think so because if you look at the Mets schedule in September, they got one of the easiest schedules in September. Cubs, Oakland, more Marlins. So they got a lot of Pittsburgh. So it's not going to be decided in August. And Pete Alonso takes a walk. So first and second, 1 out from McNeil.
So, guys, not to be a stickler here, and it's far from the most important thing that you're talking about with the C-flap, but this year they're actually wearing something different. It's not called a C-flap. It's called a mock extension, and the biggest difference is that these flaps are no longer connected and screwed into the helmet, so you can either take the extension off or you can adjust it on your face. One of the big issues with the C-flap is that, it's very stationary, so if a guy doesn't like what his eyesight is, if it's getting in his eye, he can't move it. Now with these mock extensions, you can move them down and up on your cheek depending on preference.
All right, Jeff, let's go. Come on.
How everything is advanced, and I wouldn't particularly like the C-flap.
Here's Jeff McNeil, and this is interesting. They've got Adames playing right behind the runner, and I don't think Hauser realized it. And now Adames trying to get Hauser's attention. He was right behind Lindor and did not move back as the pitch was thrown. So he was expecting something that was not forthcoming.
Probably a pickoff.
Let's see if he does it again. This time he backs off.
Come on, Jeff.
McNeil had an infield double his first time up off the pitcher's glove. Takes the first pitch, change up for a strike. I don't know. I kind of like C-flap because it flows more than mock extension. It's kind of, some people want to say automatic double instead of ground rule double, or fair pull instead of foul pull.
Oh.
Sometimes you got to stick with what works. Change it outside 1-1. Sometimes brand names become like the go-to name for a product, like Kleenex for tissues or Band-Aids for bandages.
You watch too much TV. I always shut the mute on and go into commercials. Most of the time.
2-1 to McNeil. There goes Lindor, and a little check swing pop-up behind third. Peterson's not going to get to it. It's a foul ball.
That was an odd play. Lindor was trying to steal third. Check swing by McNeil. Just went foul. That was a little dangerous there. That could have been a double play. And the inning.
Just trying to get out of the way. And you can't help. When you're a hitter, you can see the steal at second base. He got tied up inside. We can see he has the ability to fight it off.
He's just happy that ball wasn't
caught
so he can continue the at-bat. That's an RBI in the first inning. It was his 29th of the year. He came into the night hitting .388 with runners in scoring position. He upped that with that first inning double.
Just hits it to left center. It looks like it's going to be a can of corn for Yelich and left. 2 outs. All right, let's see what Escobar can do.
So 2 out of 2 on now.
Well, I think that's the problem with a lot of Braves fans and Phillies fans thinking that it's going to come back with ease. When DeGrom and Scherzer is coming back, it's going to change the Mets' dynamic even more. And they've played well without those guys. And I think people tend to forget that. Like, they're not getting scrubs back either. They're getting 2 aces back.
Manicuring the area around first base is what Fidrich used to do on the mound.
All right, Eddie, let's go. 2 out RBI here.
I know Pete plays first.
We didn't see the pitcher do it until Fidrich did.
Well, you know something? I bet you he's doing that because there's probably a divot. And I always did I called it my gardening, because a lot of base runners during the course of the game, you got to watch that area because you can get a bat hot.
Come on, Eddie, let's go.
Smooth it over. Keep an eye on every half inning when you go out there.
So do you think Pete was smoothing it to improve his base running experience or to improve his defensive experience?
It doesn't want a bat hop.
That's my feel. More important than running the bases right now. There goes
Lindor's going again.
This time the throw goes to second, and Alonso is tagged out. Smart play by Narvaez.
I don't understand.
Runner, and that's
try to do a double steal with 2 outs. I don't like that call at all. With 2 outs, you have a runner in scoring position already. Mets didn't score in that inning. They kind of ran themselves out of the inning there. So the Mets still lead 2-0 going to the top of the 4th. Some odd base running by the Mets that kind of knocked them out of the inning there. I don't understand what they were trying to double steal for when you got a man in scoring position already. A basey will score Lindor. We've seen that in the Angels series as well. When they try to do a steal of thirds, it was weird calls for base running, and I didn't like that at all. Kind of just ran yourself out of an inning there. So the Mets didn't score. Still lead 3-0 going to the top of the 4th. Bassett pitching well so far. Only gave up 1 hit. So we'll see if Bassett can continue his good pitching so far, which he desperately needs, and the Mets desperately need as well. Jiran, thank you. What's up, buddy? You're welcome. Yeah, Angel, exactly. That's a good point. The Mets with Steve Cohen are going to spend the money to make this team even better than what they already are. And I think people forget the Mets have the best record in baseball. Best record in the National League. So, I think people forget that. And they didn't have McGill for 4 weeks. They didn't have Scherzer for 4 weeks. They haven't had DeGrom all year. People forget that. And still have the best record in the National League by what, 5 games? Or about 2.5 games from the Dodgers. So the Mets are a really good team. and they're getting guys back, and also they are also will make moves during the deadline to get even better. So we're just waiting for the top of the fourth to start. Mets lead 3-0. Yeah, Ryan, I think they are being called by Buck. They did that in the Angels series that knocked them out of an inning, and they also just knocked them out of an inning there where the guys are already in scoring position. Didn't make no sense. Buck made them. I hope Buck made that move. I hope the players didn't decide to do that. So here we go, guys. Top of the fourth. Mets lead 3-0.
Chris Bassett's faced the minimum through the first three. So far, so good for Bassett, trying to bounce back from a 7.62 ERA over his last 5 starts. He struck out Yelich on 3 pitches his first time.
Come on, Chris.
After him again, this time with a cutter, and it's 0-2.
Boy, Yelich's bat is really slow. He's got that uppercut. He's always had it, but now he's lost the bat speed. He is very vulnerable.
He takes a swing at a curveball, and it's 1-2. So Pete Alonso thrown out at the back end of that double steal in the last 10th inning after doing his gardening at first base. It obviously didn't prove his jump. But do you know, Keith, that's the first time in his career Alonso's been caught stealing?
Wait, I know he's had a 2 stolen base streak. Is that correct?
7 for 7 in his career for that caught stealing.
Well, you can't count that because he was at the back end.
Yeah, Johnny, I understand trying to test Milwaukee's defense,
Not a
but
great play by either guy.
in that spot, you already got a man in scoring position. I wouldn't do that. You already got a lead. It's not late in the game where you might need that. I don't like that at all.
No chance to get Lindor.
Boy, that's maybe if people knowing Buck doesn't miss a trick, and maybe he'll tell Pete, hey Pete, you don't have to follow be on the backside.
Well, that's how you get those cheap steals. See, with 1 out, it's not a good play to throw behind, but with 2 out, if you're not biased, that's your play. Yelich fouls one back.
But Yelich really opens up the front shoulder. And it's almost like when you play golf and you slice, you just. I have not seen him in a long while, and his bat is really slow. His shoulder is opening up too quick.
When he puts the ball
Come on, Chris, let's go. 39 pitches for Bassett so far. Start in the 4th inning with no outs.
The curveball bends low, and it's 2-2. In fact, Yelich has the 4th highest ground ball rate in the major leagues. This is a guy who had 44 home runs 3 years ago.
He's got a thin-handled bat.
Come on, Chris, let's go.
Coke bottle barrel.
Yelich is putting a nice at-bat together against Bassett.
Bassett had thrown just 33 pitches in the first 3 innings before this long turn at bat. 33 pitches, first 3, that ties the fewest by any Met in the first 3 innings this year. Gets wrapped twice around the bat, that kind of hand.
Oh, Thomas, that's awesome, buddy. Got the March with the 7 line in Anaheim. That's cool.
It's like the M series I like in the old Louisville bats, which was the usual bat.
9th pitch of the at-bat coming from Bassett.
And he strikes him out. Nice pitching by Bassett.
He struck out Yelich first time.
Good job.
There's no way that Yelich is going to hit a high ball up and in. It's very much like the Mets has had success with Hartford, up and away.
New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by
Bassett pitching well so far through 3 and a 3rd innings so far. No runs for him. You like that? After what he's been terrible his last couple of starts.
To enter is Willie Adames, and he takes a slow curve for a strike. Adames was the real spark plug last year for the Brewers after coming over in a May trade from Tampa Bay. He hadn't been doing much with the Rays and got off to a great start with Milwaukee.
Yeah, Jankowski's going to start being able to squeeze the bat again, to have a strength test in his hand. So in about a week or so, you should be hearing that Jankowski might be taking swings fairly soon. That's a guy that the Mets missed a little bit too, coming in for defense, pitch running situations. He'll be back probably in 2-3 weeks. One thing about Bassett that you haven't seen in the last couple of starts, he's throwing everything for strikes, all his pitches. That's the difference than his last couple of starts than to now. Looks like it is up. Wow, that ball is carrying. Nimmo with the catch at the warning track, at the wall. Woof. So the ball is traveling to right center. Plummer hit his shot that just missed going out, and then Adames just missed the home run. So you hit it to right center, the ball is carrying. But Nimmo, right against the wall, makes the catch for the second out of the fourth inning.
But see, that's the thing. In a year where home runs are down, it's hard to be as dependent on the home run as the Brewers are.
And this ballpark plays a lot bigger than where they play at in Milwaukee.
No question.
Did they change the name of that?
American Family Park.
Right.
Or Field. One of those. Kurt bowling for a strike. Sometimes it's hard to keep track. It was Miller Park forever.
I guess Miller took a hike.
They couldn't have gone far.
All right, quick 2 strikes with 2 outs.
Tellez out in front. It's 0-2. Tellez grounded out to short his first time up. American Family Field. I don't think we go there until September. Yes, the Milwaukee Oakland trip in September. Curveball trickles away 1-2.
And a couple of the broadcasters for the Brewers came in and had a chat with us, and they said the weather there has been unseasonably cold.
That's why they have a roof.
There they are.
Jeff Levering on the right and Tim Dillard on the left. We didn't get the answer to our question yet. And looking at Tim Dillard reminded me of it. We asked the question when we were on the road trip, what happens if a player gets hit on the beard, but it doesn't actually hit his person?
Nice pitch. Strike 3. So, through 4 innings, Chris Bassett has given up 1 hit so far. Looking very nice. A lot better than he did against the Angels and the Dodgers. In the last 5 starts, he's been terrible. But he's looking very good tonight. Got control of all his pitches. And it's a huge relief for the Mets to see Chris Bassett pitching so well. Again, it's only 4 innings so far, but it's looking good. The Mets need him until Scherzer, and Scherzer for sure comes back. We need him to be big time. And he's looking like he's pitching very well right now against a good Brewers team. Right now, the Mets lead 3-0 going to the bottom of the fourth. Mets lead 3-0. Bassett pitching well. All signs looking for the Mets so far to have a really good game so far. Let's see if they can continue that and get some more runs. They had a couple of shots to get more runs in the last inning, but ran themselves out of the inning. So the Mets got to be a little bit more disciplined on the base path, and I think they will score more runs. Mary, I do agree. Seabass is pitching to his strengths, not to the batter's weakness. He's better doing this. Good job, Big Fish. I agree. 100%, Mary. That's exactly what the difference is with Chris Bassett. He's throwing all his pitches for strikes, and he was not doing that. What it was the last couple of starts, he couldn't get his breaking ball and his off-speed pitches over for a strike. So these hitters were sitting fastball because he had to come over the plate with his fastball that hurt him throughout the last couple of starts. Right now, he's located in that curveball, throwing it for a strike, throwing that changeup for a strike. Everything's been near and around the plate where pitchers are guessing. And when you guess, pretty good chance you're going to strike out or not put the big part of the bat on the ball. So Mets lead 3-0 going to the bottom of the fourth. Chris Bassett pitching well. Mets need a little bit more runs. I feel like we need more runs in this game just to see what the offense can continue to do. They cannot continue to run themselves out of innings. You know, you're playing a better team than the Brewers. It can hurt. Jose Reyes is at the game today, sitting down, chilling behind home plate. Let's see if the Mets can score some more runs in the bottom of the fourth.
Tomorrow leads off in the home fourth.
It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to seeing the original members of the 62 squad that are coming.
Flying right
Oh.
back to Hauser, and he makes the grab. A broken bat liner sends Hauser.
Escobar hits a liner up the middle, and the pitcher catches it. Luckily, broke his bat too. That could have been dangerous.
I think he was able to make the play.
Whew. Nice catch by the pitcher. Got his head out of the way and put the glove up.
I mean, when it's coming right back at you, it doesn't matter.
Whew.
Really
Nice catch by the pitcher. That was dangerous. Hey, Frank, let's go Mets, baby. Let's go.
Guillorme may have grounded out his first time up. He takes a fastball strike.
So for a struggle in the first inning for Hauser, who's pitched well the last couple of innings, kept keeping the Mets at 3 runs. 74 pitches in the fourth.
I think it's the introductions. I think it's just the feeling of having guys come out and be able to doff their cap. I mean, you mentioned the 62 guys. Like Frank Thomas is 93 years old. He's playing to come to old timers. I think that's fantastic.
And that's a base hit through the shift for Guillermo with a 1-out hit. Well, Johnny, you're speaking to somebody who doesn't care about field level that much. I'm a big guy. I'm a big person who likes to sit in the upper deck behind home plate. I love those seats. The only place I wouldn't sit, I mean, if it's a playoff game or, if it's a playoff game, you sit anywhere. You're at the game. But I'm more of a behind home plate, upper deck guy. You get the whole vision of the field. So Nick Plummer up with 1 out. Luis Guillermo just got a base hit. 3-0 Mets.
And wizard with the glove.
Nick Plummer, who flied to center his first time. He takes a fastball for a strike.
That's a good pitch. That's what Hauser has to do. He has to have that four-seamer because you can't live with that sinker on the outside corner against lefties. You got to pop them in.
Come on, Nick.
The problem for Hauser is he hasn't been able to throw his break with stuff where he's wanted to.
That's because the Mets just put him right behind the 8 ball in the first inning. They make him work. It's a very frustrating lineup.
Change up off the plate, and it's 2-1.
Well, you got to look at it this way. A lot of the bad teams, that's the teams you got to look at, right? I mean, are you really going to give top prospects for a reliever who's probably not great, but okay? I do like Plummer, Joe. I think he's a power bat.
It's on the corner, and it's 2-2.
I mean, it really depends on the pitcher. Again, we're not the only team, and I don't think you should overpay for a bullpen arm, especially if it's not a closer. So, you're going to see guys like Dom being a talks for an arm, most likely, but not top prospects. Come on, Nick.
And Plummer takes one inside. It's 3-2.
Yeah, he's trying to pound Plummer in. He just has a hard time. His comfort area is the outside corner, like most sinker bowlers.
No shift by the Brewers against Plummer. Set up a double play depth. Guillorme not running, and Plummer fouls
the full count pitch off.
So I don't know if you noticed this, Keith, but they did a little redecorating up here on the 5th floor today.
I did notice.
In the press dining room, which we use sometimes as a broadcast studio the last couple of years. They put up a lot of framed pictures of Sports Illustrated covers and newspaper covers from, over the years with the Mets. And there's a beautiful framed picture of Ryan.
I don't think you get Mauricio in a trade unless it's a big bat.
All around the room. I looked at each
You're not trading Mauricio for an arm, unless it's Josh Hader. And I don't see Milwaukee trading him if they're in the hunt.
Get on the cover of Sports Illustrated in the orange.
Come on, Nick. Let's go. And Nick Plummer strikes out.
I only made one Sports Illustrated cover.
Well, maybe. It depends. Dom got a couple of years left on his rookie deal, and I think Robinson got an extra year left as well. Again, maybe you can give up Dom Smith for Robinson. Maybe.
Because not all the framed pictures in the press dining room are Sports Illustrated covers. They could have found another.
So 2 outs for the Mets at the bottom of the fourth. Luis Guillaume at first base. Nito up.
Right. I was on cover of Sport Mag.
Even the picture of the
Yeah, you'd be surprised how much value Dom has for other teams. People like Dom. People think Dom, as an everyday player, everyday first baseman, is going to be a good player. That's why everybody talked about Boston when it came to about JD Martinez. Oh, Neal with a shot. Oh, nice catch by Christian Yelich. Ending the inning. Woof. Nito hit it hard, but Christian Yelich running back, making a nice one-handed leaping catch to end the inning. Going to the top of the fifth, Mets lead 3-0. Yeah, when it comes to Dominic Smith, he might not have value with the Mets, but a lot of teams like Dominic Smith. So, you might get a team to bite who want Dominic Smith. And you got to remember, guys, Dominic Smith is not just a guy where we know he's a very good first baseman. Some guys see him as a pretty good hitter as well. But the bigger value, especially with bad teams that are going to be trading big bats and big arms in the bullpen or the starting rotation, is to look at the contracts of the players you might be trading for a bullpen piece, for a big bat, for a starting rotation arm. Dominic Smith got a couple of years left on his rookie deal, right? He's cheap. He has the possibility of being a good player. That's what these bad teams are looking at. They're looking for cheap players that they don't have to pay, who can step in right away, or prospects as well. So that's what you have to look at when it comes to who the Mets are trading. And you got to remember, there's going to be competition for these. There's not going to be there's going to be more teams that are going to be trading for the same players that the Mets are going to be looking for. So, yeah, it might cost you a little bit more depending on who's looking for what type of player. But when it comes down to it, these bad teams are looking for cheap players who might be up in a year or two or might be ready to go for the big leagues that don't cost them a lot of money. The Mets have a decent amount of those players. You got J.D. Davis. You got Dominic Smith. Looking for, a bullpen arm like somebody talked about Robinson. Yeah, but you're not going to give a top prospect for Robinson. You might give Dominic Smith up for Robinson, which might be enticing for that team because he's under control for a couple more years. He's cheap. He can step right in to play first base and be a DH as well. And Joe, yeah, I'm definitely doing the first round of the MLB draft on July 17th on the Sunday. So if everybody wants to tune in for that, that would be interesting. The Mets have 2 picks in the top 15, 11th and 14th. So it's going to be a nice draft for the Mets. So I'm going to be doing a live stream draft for the first round on July 17th. All right, guys, top of the fifth, Mets lead 3-0.
Through the first 4 innings, and his first pitch slider in for a strike to Luis Urias. Urias flied out to right his first time up. The only base runner for the Brewers, a single by Jace Peterson with 1 out in the third. He was erased on a double play, and that's been it. Urias, McCutcheon, and Narvaez for the Brewers in the fifth. And that slider just missed 1-1.
Wow, that's the best breaking ball he's thrown, and it gets the call. That was right where he wants to put it every time.
Come on, Chris, let's go.
Mr. Bassett.
3 infielders on the left side against Urias. Slow curve fouled off. Urias kind of epitomizes what the Brewers have been struggling through this year. Last year, and a really nice year for the Brewers. Hit 23 home runs at a 789 OPS. This year's OPS is 690. And just about everybody in their lineup, their OPS is down significantly from last year. He pulls that one
Ground ball. Oh, Lindor tried to backhand it and went under his glove. That's an error.
Safely, and that'll be an error on Francisco Lindor.
That's not what Lindor should have done there. Should have put his body in front of that ball. Try to backhand it. Went right under his glove.
He just came up too quick.
Not a good play. Don't want to give the extra outs there.
Possibly. That could have been was the beginning of it. But he was there for the backhand, that's for sure.
6th error of the year for Lindor is Andrew McCutcheon, who's been mostly DHing for the Brewers this year. He's late on a fastball, 0-1. McCutcheon recently had an 0 for 32 stretch Now he broke with a game-winning hit, and that stretched out to 1 for 40.
Come on, Chris, let's go.
Since then, though, he has perked up 11 for 28, so he has gotten back into the range of the acceptable. That's a wave on a strike. McCutchen won his MVP back in 2013 with the Pirates, and it was because of McCutchen's presence that in Pittsburgh, Starling Marte had to play left field, and Marte wound up winning Gold Gloves in left field.
See if Chris can get a double play here.
One and right.
He might do that.
The way he's been playing it.
I mean, they had what they thought was an outfield for the ages, one that they could stay with for many, many years. With
Nice
Marte
curveball.
left, McCutchen at
Fouled it
center,
off by
Gregory
McCutchen.
Blanco in right. But things
Well,
that
Angel,
McCutchen
there was good news for
in
Jankowski,
Pittsburgh,
though.
Injuries.
I think by the middle of next week, he's going to have a strength test where it's like squeezing the bat, doing strength tests like they did with Alonso. So it's looking like he's healing a lot quicker than people expected.
27 home runs for the Phillies last season, just 4 so far this year for the Brewers.
Come on, Chris, let's go.
1-2 coming.
Uh-oh.
Driven to center
That's
field.
right at Nimmo.
Right there
One
is
out.
Nimmo to pick
All right.
it off.
McCutchen hit it hard, but right at Nimmo.
McCutchen retired, 1 out.
Bassett got away with one there. But, again, you got to hit him where they ain't, and he didn't.
And now the catcher, Omar Narvaez.
Exactly, Christian. And you know what? That's cheap for a lot of teams.
First time up.
That's why he's also valuable as well.
Surprised that Narvaez hit the ball solidly against Bassett. He came into the day having had 5 hits and 7 career at-bats against Chris. Narvaez made his first All-Star game last year, now in his 3rd year with the Brewers.
Got a slugger in Navarez at the plate
And Narvaez takes one up the middle.
and hits
for
it up the
base
middle.
hit. It's the second Milwaukee
All right.
hit of the night.
Brewers are hitting him a little bit harder in this
Brewers have
inning.
2 men on.
A little bit of concern. Leaving that fastball over the plate
Baseball
there.
on SNY is brought to you by Car Shield. Car Shield cars go farther. By Stop and Shop, feed the moment. And by Volkswagen.
Boy, you're showing the old Brew Crew of 82. That's right.
It's the 40-year anniversary of the Cardinals' 7-game victory over the Brewers in the World Series, sparked by a big 7th game hit from Keith Hernandez.
You got a couple Hall of Famers in that. 3 Hall of Famers to be exact. Now that Ted Simmons has joined us, Gorman Thomas,
Along with Robin Yount and
Paul
Paul
Mahler. Remember game 1? They beat
All
us.
right, see if Bassett can bear down here. Angel, get the 200 likes. That would be
Had like 9.
breaking the likes barrier right there. Getting 200 likes today. See if we can do it, guys.
big hit.
Very similar to the one in Boston, game 7. Very
Steve
similar.
Scherzer did rejoin the team.
You know, they talk about some
They didn't give a
pitchers
date
who
yet,
became
but he is going to be
pitchers.
Thursday. He's going to be having
You were a game
an
7
up and
hitter.
down session.
I only had 2 of them here.
That's all
Basically,
you need.
That's not a good track
pitching the
record.
bat in practice,
No.
but sitting down
Hey,
between
big spots.
pitches, between a couple of pitches here and there. So
Thank you for
that's good news for Scherzer.
Horses for courses.
I've been down all day. You just lifted my spirits.
Hunter Renfroe. was
Angel,
blocked
good call.
by
I like
hit.
that comment.
Great play by Nimmo.
All right,
his
Chris,
first
bear
time
down here.
up.
Let's go.
That's here with 2 aboard. And he tries to shoot one the other way and he fouls it off.
So the Brewers in this inning look like they're on Chris Bassett's pitches here.
So the Brewers had 5 Hall of Famers on that team. They
Oh,
had
Raleigh.
Fingers and Don Sutton. So what's wrong with Bassett? Trying to catch his breath.
This is the second time in the game Chris Bassett kneeled down, like he's having trouble breathing or something. Not sure.
Concerned, whatever
Or maybe
it is.
something's hurting him.
And curveball misses 1 and 2 to Renfroe. Bassett twice in a row bent over after a pitch, and then it looked like he was trying to catch his breath, like maybe not feeling well.
So it's possible, I don't know, maybe Chris Bassett's like under the weather.
He's collecting himself here.
Sometimes it's hard to tell with Chris because he can look annoyed on the mound, even when things are just fine.
Well, he's a perfectionist to a fault.
Come on, Chris.
1-2 on Renfroe. Couldn't tease him with that fastball. 2-2. Chase Peterson, the on-deck batter. Now he bends over again. Shakes of the head. That's a little bleary. Rios at second. Narvaez at first with one out. Slider off.
All right, so full count now.
With two, he runs a full count to Renfroe.
A little shaky here with Bassett. I don't know what's wrong with Bassett, but he bent down twice already. I don't know if he's under the weather. It looks like he's trying to catch his breath. It's a little weird right now with Bassett.
Confers with his coaches, his pitching coach particularly.
Renfroe hits one on the ground.
All right, should be a double play. Yes, double play. That's what we needed right there for Bassett.
Second double play behind Bassett.
All right, that was a nice double play for Bassett. Struggling a little bit, but got the double play he needed. I don't know. Maybe I don't know if Bassett's hurt, but he did that in the third inning as well. He just bent down at the knees there, like I don't know if he was not feeling well or I don't know, but it's a little weird. But thankfully he got out of the inning. You know, honestly, I would take Chris Bassett out of the game if there's something wrong with him or he's sick. Just take him out of the game. You know, don't want to lose him either. You know that's why it's important to get Jacob deGrom and Scherzer back before the trade deadline, because if they are healthy, Taijuan Walker as a rental, there's a pretty good chance you're not going to use him in the playoffs, and he might be one of the guys that might be out of the rotation if deGrom and Scherzer come back. I think it would be an option. You know, Taijuan Walker is a good pitcher. He's on a rental. He's not going to cost a lot of money. You know, he's a free agent after the end of the year. Maybe somebody would take him in a deal if you throw Dominic Smith in or something like that, or a big prospect for a big bet. You never know. But you know what? You know, with this weird weather in New York, honestly, guys, and, you know, it was a long trip over there in the West Coast. Who the hell knows? You know, he could just have a stomach ache. Could be, you know, it's possible. You know, we don't know what's going on. Ryan, you know, I know a lot of people say we just need relief pitching, but you know what? You still want to have that big bat with Alonso as well. You know, I'm not saying you need a big masher. You know, you got a guy like Josh Bell is an option who's been very good for the Nationals. You know, we talked about JD Martinez, but the Red Sox found a way to get back in that wild card spot as well. But I do feel like the Mets are going to make a couple of moves. You know, never hurts to get another starting pitcher, which I think is probably third on the list. Bullpen and a big bat is also another. 1-2. Relief pitching is probably number one, but a big bat's probably a close second. All right, guys. Bottom of the fifth. Mets lead 3-0 still. Nimmo leading off.
Nimmo just went up the line, and that was just roll foul. Nimmo got the whole thing started tonight with a double to right center in a 9-pitch first inning at bat, where he was behind 0-2, got to 3-2, and was able to spark a rally against Adrian Hauser, who had to throw 37 pitches in that first inning, and that set the tone for this entire night so far. Brewers trying to squeeze another inning out of Hauser.
See if the Mets can get a couple more runs here.
Last start against Philadelphia.
And Nimmo hits a base hit up the middle. There we go. Lead off hit for Nimmo. 2 for 3 on the ninth.
Brandon is 2 for 3, and the Mets have the leadoff man onto the fifth.
Stayed back on that curveball there.
And that shoulder in, right up at the plate. Boy, Brandon has just become really fine hitter. So nice to see.
He's become a fine player in just about every respect. The only thing that he can add to his repertoire
is stolen bases.
Stolen base.
It's been fun to watch his progress.
Marte, who had an infield hit. It's funny because, Brandon has not attempted to steal second this entire season, and then inexplicably the other night, he tried to steal third against Aaron Loop, who wound up turning and picking him off.
All right, 2-0 to Marte.
Marte, nobody throwing in the Milwaukee bullpen. The Brewers, like the Mets, had yesterday off, so they should be pretty well rested out there. And yet, here's Hauser about for his 90th pitch with nobody out in the fifth, and Craig Counsell has nobody up. Hauser's high pitch count this year was 101. That's hit toward the hole.
And Marte with a nice play.
They get the force at second.
They get the force at second. That was a nice play.
He was not running 100%, but got down the line well enough.
So 1 out, Marte on
Sure
first.
that wouldn't be a double play.
A nice play by Adames. And you get the lead runner. Really no chance to turn to 2.
Hard for a guy like Marte, who is so leg dependent, to not go hard down first base. He was going maybe, 85-90%. Trying to play through that quad injury that kept him out a few days. It's Lindor, who bunted against the
Come on, Frankie,
for
let's
base
go.
at his last time, and this time they've got the third.
I want to see
base
Frankie get hot here.
closer. Misses with the sinker, ball 1. So tomorrow night, the Mets face the defending Cy Young Award winner, Corbin Burns, who has pitched just as well this year as last. City probables, David Peterson coming off a relief outing, plugged back into the rotation. And then Tyler McGill against the lefty Aaron Ashby on Thursday. The changeup that time by Hauser, and it's 1-1.
That's the best changeup he's thrown.
Brent Suter, first man up in the Milwaukee bullpen. So the Mets are squeezing David Peterson into the rotation tomorrow because the Brewers have struggled against lefties. And the Brewers are going with Aaron Ashby on Thursday because the Mets have struggled against lefties. Interestingly enough, there are only 8 teams in the majors that have better records against right-hand starters than against left-hand starters. And the Mets and Brewers are 2 of those 8. The other 22 teams all have better records against left-handed starters.
I just noticed that bullpen out there, the visitors' bullpen. The stripes, the horizontal stripes. It reminds me of the old Houston Astro uniform, doesn't it?
Good point.
Right by the New York Lottery.
Lindor flies one out to left. Yelich should have plenty of room.
And Lindor, 2 outs.
Step on the warning, trying to make the catch. Marte's going to try for second, and he dives
All right, Marte hustled to second on a fly ball to left. Nice play.
Was not
Good
sure
base
at
running.
first if he was going to try it, and then decided to accelerate and make the attempt, and he arrived safely.
And I'm sure, number one, is that he tags up because he realizes the ball's going to be caught. So that's just good. Here's the ball hit. He reads, he knows it's not going out. So he gets back. He might drop the ball. You never know. Watch him hesitate here. And then he kicks it into gear. I'm sure the training staff held their collective breaths.
Do you think that was him reading the throw when he was deciding whether to go or not?
That was nice base running by Marte to get in scoring position with 2 outs with Alonso up.
Yelich didn't show a very strong arm.
And yet he threw
And
it
I don't
on
think
target.
people realize how
So
important
he wasn't waiting to see if it was offline.
that
Something that can do.
tagging up is, because he could be on first base with 2 outs, and that's why just smart base running there can cause the Mets to get a 2-out run. 2-out run here. Alonso pops it up. Is he going to stay in play? No, it's not.
Not a lot of room at CitiField. favorable to the hitter.
You know, where that ball is hit.
That's a good call, Christian. Let me throw that comment up there. So after June 15th, there's no more trade protection anymore. So you might see a little bit of movement from players that don't have that protection anymore. We'll see.
Near the corner of the dugout. It's a good thing Al's not taller because then it would be even more of an impediment.
It can't be very fun to look at Al's head.
Come on, Pete. Two out RBI waiting for you right there.
Scoring position for Alonso now has 58 RBIs.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, another 2-out RBI for Pete. Again, important base running by Marte there. If he doesn't tag up there to go to second, he would be on third base right now. 4-0 Mets.
Run that the Mets steal right there with the base running of Marte right down the pipe.
Just smart base running by Marte to tag up at first. Again, that would be second and third, or first and third with 2 outs. And still 3-0 Mets. But because of Marte's smart base running, gave Pete the guy in scoring position to get that RBI. So they're changing the pitcher. Mets lead 4-0. Can't stress it enough. The smart base running by this team, the majority of the year, and the speed of this team has changed, taking that extra base, tagging up at the right time, just like Marte did. That is exactly why the Mets are different this year. You know, he don't tag up in that spot. It's first and third with 2 outs. You know, you counted on McNeil to get that 2-out RBI. But Marte was smart. He tagged up, knew Yelich was going back, going to catch that ball. And that's exactly what Marte did. Knowing that it's going to be 2 outs, get in scoring position any way possible with your big guy coming up at the plate. And that's that run right there. They stole that run from the Brewers right there, giving them a 4-run lead in the bottom of the 5th. So the Brewers are changing the pitcher. The Mets got a 4-run lead. Pete Alonso with another 2-out RBI that he's been great at this year, leading the league in RBIs. Pete Alonso has just been excellent this year. MVP candidate for sure. No many. Yep, that's a good call. Alonso McNeil for All-Star. You got to vote. Pete's just been great this year. You know, what I even like about Pete even more is that he's hitting for average. I think his average is running around 270, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but I think that's what it is. Let me see. Alonso's batting 290 this year. So, you know, that's the bigger thing when it comes to Pete Alonso, is that, you know, he was around in his career 260, 265, but batting 290 and hitting the home runs he's been hitting and the most RBIs in baseball, that's a big deal. You can go on, JD, you can just go on MLB.com or the Mets website, and you can find the voting for the All-Star game. So once again, guys, don't forget to please hit on that like button. We got 180 in the stream right now. I think the last time I checked, it was 115 likes. Let's try to get to 150. That's the goal. Possibly 200 likes. That would be a new record on this channel. So let's see if we can get to it. So first pitch to McNeil. I don't know what happened there. They came back from commercial late. So it was strike one. 4-0 Mets. Got Pete Alonso at first. McNeil at the plate.
He's at 288 on the year with 60 at-bats. This is his 60th at-bat.
Pretty amazing.
So he's turned
Steve, I think it's probably the best probably since 2006, if I'm not mistaken.
We're in that 82 mode.
Bruce has 2 teams. Brent only has 1. Fastball in for a strike, 1 and 2. Neal banked one off the glove of Adrian Hauser for a double to drive and run in the first, fly down in the third. Hauser
Joe, end the lockout. I said it.
For 4 2/3, 8 hits, 4 runs so far, a walk, 3 strikeouts. So he does not throw hard. 88 is about where he's going to top out with that fastball. But he throws mostly fastballs. How does he do it?
No, it's hard to be a better hitting team than 2006. Reyes, Wright, Delgado, Beltran, Leduca, all over the diamond.
Maybe it's a Harvard thing.
And Alonso to hit a ball to the pitcher, ending the inning. So the Mets get a 2-out RBI for Pete Alonso, making it 4-0 going to the top of the 6th. Mets lead 4-0. All right, guys. So game is moving smoothly, which is nice. Glad everybody can actually not have to stay up until past midnight to watch a game for the last 2 weeks. Got a nice 7:00 ball game right here. Mets lead 4-0. Mets look dominant in this game so far, taking advantage of the mistakes from the Brewers, taking that extra base like Marte did. So we're going to look around the league right now. St. Louis is winning 7-0. Atlanta's beating Washington 7-3. Miami and Philly are tied. Phillies came back after losing 4-0. Yankees are leading Tampa Bay 2-0. The Orioles leading the Blue Jays 5-3. Boston beating the A's 6-0. White Sox leading Detroit 4-1. Obviously, the Mets are winning 4-0 against the Brewers. The Cubs are beating San Diego 1-0. Houston, Texas, no score. Cleveland and Colorado just started, no score. And the other games have not started yet. So that's around the league right now. Phillies are finding ways to come back against the Marlins here. The Phillies just playing well so far, so expect that game to be very interesting. Hopefully Washington can come back against Atlanta, but most importantly, if the Mets take care of business, the teams behind them cannot catch them. Mets win today. It doesn't matter what the Braves and the Phillies do because they don't gain any ground on us. That's the most important. That's true, Steve. So, once again, guys, don't forget to please hit on that like button. We got 160 in the stream right now. Goal is always to get to 150 likes. The new record would be 200. Let's see if we can get up to 200 today. That would be great. But 150 is always the goal on a live stream. So, here we go, guys. Top of the sixth. Mets lead 4-0. Bassett's still on the mound.
It's a high strike from Chris Bassett. Bassett thrown only 66 pitches over the first 5 innings, giving up only 2 singles. One of those belongs to Peterson, who hit one the other way through the hole to get the first Brewers hit of the night in the third. And he fouls away the cutter, and it's 0-2.
Well, Joe, I don't see the dislikes anymore. YouTube thinks it's bad.
In the last inning, got his second double play of the night, which is a rarity for Bassett. It's only the 5th time in his career he's gotten 2 ground ball double plays in the same game, and he's never had 3. Judah Peterson, Tyrone Taylor on deck, and then Christian Yelich for the Brewers.
By the way, that's 2 for 2 tonight with runners in scoring position for Pete. That raises his batting average to 368 with the lisp.
That's good, right?
Yes. I say that with a lisp.
Riff. Daffy Duck. It was fun bad for Daffy.
He did?
Did.
Oh, he was a pain in the fan.
But he was always stepping on his own toe.
That was, it's kind of the guy you just wanted to smack.
I mean, I didn't feel bad for the Coyote because the Coyote was malevolent. I didn't see Daffy as being malevolent. He was starved for attention because Mickey got all the attention and nobody paid any attention to Daffy.
But how about the chicken hawk?
Oh, no, thank you. So it's 71 pitches in the 6th inning for Bassett, so it's a very nice pitch out. Can easily get to 8 innings with that pitch count right now, even if he has a quick inning, somewhat of a long inning here. But how nice would it be to see Chris Bassett go 8 innings with no runs after how he's been bad the last couple of starts?
Yes. That was my mother. Foghorn Leghorn, my mom's favorite cartoon character.
Really?
Yes.
Curveball bounce foul by Peterson.
I say
son. You're a chicken? I'm a chicken hawk.
Gosh. Then you had the Martian, remember? It was in the Roman helmet all the time. You couldn't see his face, only his eyes.
Equivalent of the Great Kazoo.
Oh, Chris.
2-2 coming. Fastball away.
Just outside.
Runs a full count on Peterson. Long at bat against Yelich to start the fourth inning, a 9-pitch extravaganza before he struck him out. Now he's going to throw a 9th pitch to Peterson, leading off in the 6th. 3-2 coming. And it's too high.
Lead off 4.
Tonight, given up by Bassett. Sets him up for another double play. Let's check in with the studio. Eamon McEnany has a game break brought to you by your local Honda dealers.
Thanks, Gary. Braves in Washington looking to make it 13 straight. Top of the third, Travis d'Arnaud crushes a 3-run shot. That makes it 5-0. Up next, Marcell Ozuna, and he sends out a solo shot as they go back-to-back. That made it 6-0. It's now 7-3, Gary, in the top of the 6th.
Braves trying to win their 13th in a row tonight. Here's Tyrone Taylor, who grounded into a double play his last time. Meanwhile, the Phillies were down 4-0 to the Marlins early tonight.
Bobby, thanks for the super chat, buddy. It's nice to come home from work and see the Mets winning. The way the you guys have been pitching, it's each other up this year has been special. I 100% agree, Bobby. It's been everybody. You know, when the pitching's been struggling, the offense has been picking up. Offense been struggling, pitches have been picking up. It's been all year, Bobby. And Bobby's also a member of Talking Mets and Rob, so I appreciate that, Bobby, once again.
Swanson and Riley have just been tearing the cover off the ball. And you know what? Also, here's a swing and a miss by Taylor, and it's 1-1. The elevation of Michael Harris to the big leagues.
Once again, thank you, Bobby. Just want to move it so everybody can see the game day, but I do appreciate the super chat and the comment. Thank you so much.
Not quite to Acuna's level, perhaps, but Harris has been great. He's been in over 290.
All right, so Chris is, a little wild right now, so let's see if he can get it done. Oh, where was that pitch? That was a strike that should have been called, but was not. All right, so 78 pitches so far, so the pitch count getting up a little bit. Thank you, Bobby. Appreciate it.
3 on the left side against Taylor.
So center field should be an easy out for Nimmo, and 1 out. There you go. Like it. Top of the order for the Brewers. Yelich coming up.
Bassett from the windup in the first at bat. Very tardy on that fastball. And then on the stretch in the segundo.
Why would he pitch from the stretch with nobody on?
Well, I will tell the media that I know they're listening to us. Ask that question in postgame.
This time he has to pitch from the stretch with a man on. Cutter misses high for ball 1. He struck out Yelich twice, both times on high fastballs. That's playing straight up on the infield, a double play depth. Hits one up the middle. He's got
all right, Yelich got a base hit.
Around second, Peterson. He's going to go to third. Nimmo's throw arrives too late.
All right, so first and third, 1 out. So Bassett's having a little bit of an issue in this 6th inning here.
And the Brewers have something working here in the 6th. First and second, 1 out.
Well, ball down and away.
Interesting. As that pitch was thrown, did you see Lindor take a step to his right?
I missed that.
And then the ball was hit back to his left, so he must have been anticipating that Yelich was going to take that ball the other way. Instead, he hit it up the middle, and the Brewers have just their 3rd hit of the night.
All right, a little dicey here. See if we can get another double play the end inning.
He went to the fence and right center, the Nimmo ran down.
81 pitches for Bassett.
First pitch curveball out of the strike zone, ball 1.
No activity in the Met bullpen. Buck showing complete confidence in Bassett to get out of this inning.
It's been a big bounce back performance for Bassett, who got hammered in his last start in San Diego. Didn't get out of the 4th inning, gave up 7 runs. So Milwaukee in check to this point.
All right.
last hit by Yelich.
Come on, Chris.
Tell me he reacts.
Left of your screen. Oh, he got caught. He wasn't quite set. A little late getting set, Garrett.
Is that what it was? It wasn't a
Yeah,
lead.
he was moving to his right before the ball was hit. And he just got caught a little bit in midair, and that's the difference in him not getting a good break on that ball.
Of course, the ironic thing is that the Mets against most left-hand hitters play a shift. They didn't that time. If they're shifting, it's a double play ball, right?
Yes. And Yelich is kind of a pull hitter. If he goes to left field, it's a fly ball, he gets beat.
Yeah, I don't know what he is anymore, to be quite honest. He rolls over a lot of ground balls.
He flies open, and that just leaves him so vulnerable.
He was such a force for a couple of years. I mean, he was always a good player in Miami, and he came to Milwaukee and became a superstar. It just hasn't lasted, whether it's because of injury or something else.
Nice pitch.
Fastball away by Bassett. He's even on Adamas 2-2. Phillies have now done in front of the Marlins. 2-run single by Alec Bowman. The fifth makes it 6-4 Philadelphia in a game they were down 4-0.
Come on, Chris, let's go.
They are. Everybody behind the Mets seems to be hot. It behooves the Mets to stay hot themselves.
And all they can do is take care of themselves.
2-2 coming. Bouncing ball, that might be two.
Double play ball?
Flip to Lindor on the
Yes!
throw, dug out by Alonso, and they
Big double play.
Brilliantly done.
Excellent. Nice play by Guillaume, flipping it over to Lindor. And the throw to first, scoop by Alonso. Double play. Got out of the inning. Mets still lead 4-0 going into the bottom of the sixth. Woo! Sexy double play. We like that. That was a huge double play to get Bassett out of the inning there. So I don't know if Bassett's under the weather or something, but he didn't look healthy. But that's the third double play of the night. 3 big double plays that Bassett needed and got it done. I don't know if they're going to bring him out for the 7th, but if he gives us 6 solid innings, no runs, I'll take it for the night. Let the bullpen do its job and let the offense score some runs. So, I know the Brave fan came up there talking about the Braves. Again, it really doesn't matter what the Braves do or the Phillies do. Let them keep winning. But if the Mets keep winning, it's another game off the schedule, and they don't gain a game. But the Mets lead 4-0 going to the bottom of the 6th. Chris Bassett, if he's done for the night, 6 solid innings, a couple of hits, no runs. So it's a big bounce-back performance from Chris Bassett. And, Lord, do we know that we needed that from Chris Bassett. He's been one of the guys that's been struggling ever since Max has been out of the rotation. And it's nice to see that Chris Bassett found his pitches because that was the biggest problem. He couldn't get any of his secondary pitches over for strikes, and it caused him to leave fastballs over the plate that they killed over the last couple of outings for Bassett. But nice bounce back performance against the Brewers team that, is not the great offensive, the best offense in the world, but they got good hitters there. And Bassett basically shut them down in 3 big double plays that he needed, and he got it done. He was at, I think, 89 pitches. Maybe he wants to go out there for one more inning, but I wouldn't push it. The last thing you want to do is to bring him out there for the 7th, and he struggles and gives up a couple of runs, and now it doesn't look as good. So going to the bottom of the 6th, Escobar up, 4-0 Mets.
He takes fastball low for ball 1. Escobar sacrifice fly in the first, and on a broken bat liner that the pitcher Hauser caught in the 4th. Batting right-handed for the first time tonight. He fouls one off.
Here's the double play that ends the inning. Nice little soft feed. And Lindor out of position really to make a strong throw and off the wrong foot, but gives Pete a short hop.
That's a hard double play to turn. I don't know if that view quite gave it justice because of how far behind the bag Guillaume had to go, and then leading Lindor with that throw. Feathered it over there while that's behind him. Here you go.
That's a nice description of feathered.
I think that gives a better view of how difficult that was. It's the triangular precision play of the game.
Escobar strikes out, 1 out in the 6th.
For strike 3. So that's the first down of the home 6th. And Guillorme, who had a base hit his last time up. Braves are pouring it on to D.C. 9-3 in the sixth over the Nationals. They're at 5 home runs now. We just mentioned Michael Harris, who just hit a home run for the second straight day.
It's fun coming to the ballpark for the Braves right now and the Phillies.
Shouldn't be any surprise. This is exactly what Atlanta did last year. They laid low for the first couple of months and then exploded and knocked the Mets right out of first place. And
Wow, Luis, let's go.
To win the division and eventually win the World Series.
See the funkadelic delivery here from Suter.
Guillorme hits a shot to left center, but a cannon call for the center fielder to outs.
That's the second out. Oh, we're going with a little different Spectrum high speed tonight. Not the pitches, but the Spectrum high speed hits. Brandon Nimmo at the top of the chart with his base hit. Alonso and Hunter Renfroe. That's the ball that Nimmo caught diving left center.
I would have thought Nimmo's double was up there.
Jeff, I agree. You got a 4-run lead right now, a decent lead. But it never hurts to have more insurance runs for sure. And that was a quick inning for the Brewers, going to the top of the seventh. 1-2-3. Mets didn't get any runs in that inning. 1-2-3 for the Brewers, going to the top of the seventh. See if Bassett comes out for the seventh. Mets lead 4-0. So as long as the Mets take care of business and do their job, it doesn't matter what the Phillies or the Braves do, honestly. It really doesn't. Knock off the games off the schedule. That's one less game the Braves and the Phillies have a chance to come back and catch the Mets. That's what it is. The Braves have been playing excellent. The Phillies have been playing excellent. But the Mets have been playing well also, and there's no reason why any of these teams are going to let up. And you know what? If you thought that the Mets were just going to go away with the division and be 10-plus games up, you were rudely mistaken, because that's just not how baseball works, ever. It's rare that you continue to keep a 9-10 game lead over and over and over again. It just doesn't happen in baseball. There's always a run in baseball where a team will go 17, 16 out of 20, and the team leading the division, has a stretch where they might lose 6 out of 10, and that's when the teams catch up. And that the Mets went 500 on the West Coast trip, and the Braves had to go out of their mind to get back into this race. And it's expected. If you didn't expect that as a Mets fan, you don't watch baseball for 120 years. It's been around or longer. So, baseball is a game, where the longevity kicks in, and you see droughts, struggles for a couple of months and then great performances for a couple of months. It's just a matter of, does the team hold on, gets better? The one thing the Mets have going for them is then the month of September, where in years past they had a very tough schedule. This year in September, they have a very easy schedule, which should help them pad on a couple of more wins here and there. So Chris Bassett is coming out for the 7th inning. So let's see if he can get through 7 innings here. Let's see.
About once a series.
Geraldo, I say really yes. I think DeGrom will be back before the All-Star break, so I think everybody should be full. I think it should be full strength for the Mets.
Because they were on a West Coast trip.
So here we go, guys. Top of the 7, Bassett on the mound, 4-0 Mets.
Back together when you're on a West Coast for 10.5 days. The core is very diligent, and they do all kinds of things. I would prefer this, Gare. I never liked taking infield.
All right, nice hit by Alonso for the first out. 1 out.
Well, you didn't need infield practice, but I'll tell you what, as a fan, one of the greatest things is coming every day and seeing 45 minutes before the game, both teams come out and take ground balls, turn double plays, throw to the plate.
Jeff, I understand that, but I'm so sick of people, not just Met fans, baseball fans in general, talk about years past. It absolutely does not matter that the Mets choked in 2007. It doesn't matter if the Mets lost the division after 100 days in first place last year. Those teams are those teams. These teams, this team this year is this team. Doesn't matter what happened last year. And if you want to talk about last year and compare the two teams, This team couldn't score runs last year. This team lost their best pitcher in baseball and didn't have Scherzer in the rotation, didn't have McGill in the rotation, didn't have Bassett in the rotation. That's the difference. The Mets are scoring over 5 runs a ball game. Last year, they were barely scoring 2 runs a ball game. That's the difference. So years past means absolutely nothing. I'm sick and tired of hearing that from fans. It's a stupid excuse. Strike 3. What a pitch by Bassett. 2 outs. What matters is what happens this year.
I'm just glad to see teams doing this more and more, and it's not just the Mets. We've seen other teams doing this as well.
No, I agree, Jeff. No, I'm not like disrespecting your comment at all. Don't get me wrong. I don't want you to think that that's what I'm doing. I'm just bringing in the other side of the fact that too many people bring up that excuse, and it is annoying, and I can see it is for everybody. It really doesn't matter, you know. You can always lose a division. There's no doubt about it. But it's not like the Mets played bad at any point this year in the first 3 months of the season. They haven't. So, you know, it took the Braves to go on a 12-game winning streak to get back into the race. The Mets didn't play better in that stretch. Yeah, Chris Bassett, 1, 2, 3 innings. Excellent inning. 7 scoreless innings for Bassett. Exactly the performance we were looking for. And Bassett he struggled a little bit in an inning or two, but for the most part, pitched really well. And that's exactly what we needed from Chris Bassett. I love it. See if the Mets can get a couple more insurance runs, but the Mets are in the driver's seat going to the bottom of the 7th. Chris Bassett, the performance that we were waiting for Met fans, and we love it. He showed emotion on the mound with the fist pump, walking off the mound. He knew we needed to start like this. Met fans did, everybody did, and we got it. So Chris Bassett looks like he's back, and see if the Mets can just get the W and keep that 5-game lead that they have. I agree, Jeff. Exactly, Teddy. You know, doesn't matter if it's a half a game or 10 games. It's still a division win. And, you know, I know people talk about, you know, the choking of the Mets in 2008, last year. You know, it happens. But you can look all around the league, and it happens all the time. It just happens. You know, 7 with 17 to go, 7-game lead with 17 to go. You know, that doesn't happen all the time. You know, the Mets were playing extremely bad during that stretch. They were. They stopped hitting. Their defense was bad. The pitching fell apart. It happens. But you can also talk about 2015, where the Nationals collapsed and fell apart, and the Mets took advantage of it after the All-Star break. It happens. It really does happen. You know, everybody does forget that after Jacob deGrom did not pitch after the All-Star break last year, the Mets still held on to first place until August. And they still held on. The Braves just got extremely hot, and the Mets had no pitching besides Stroman. You know, we had no Carrasco. We had no deGrom. Bassett wasn't on team. Scherzer wasn't on team. McGill wasn't the same pitcher he was as he is this year. So that's a huge difference. So we're going to the bottom of the 7th. Mets lead 4-0. Great performance by Bassett. 7 strong innings, no runs. See if the Mets can get some more runs going in to the bottom of the 7th.
Must be a cold day, and everyone's got their sweatshirts on and jackets.
Run those bases. Look at that. Oh, nice. Wow. City, that's outstanding. Wow. Those are some long legs on that kid. Next generation, gearing up.
All right, guys, so stick around for game day and the game call. I'll be right back.
29-year-old Trevor Kelly. Tomas Nido will lead off for New York. Nido is 0 for 2. He takes a strike from Kelly.
And a submariner. There's his numbers. Oh, boy. But 8 2/3. He's just been kind of knocked around. Second stint with the club.
Phillies and cups of coffee with the Red Sox and the Phillies. Providence, Rhode Island native who went to University of North Carolina. Nito in a long drive to left, and Yelich was able to track down on a nice play his last time up. Hit the other way, Tellez with a nice pickup on the backhand, and Nito's retired 1 out. Brandon Nimmo coming up. We check in with Steve.
So, guys, another night where the Mets offense is successful by stringing together base hits, putting the ball in play, and not relying on the home run. And it's something Eric Chavez has talked so much about this season. He said the reason he prefers that approach, one of the reasons, is that he thinks that approach wins when it matters in the playoffs. That, if you look at the analytics over the course of 162, if you're trying to get on base and trying to hit home runs, you're probably going to win more often than you lose if you're successful. But when you get to the postseason, that's when you're facing the best pitching across the board. And one-dimensional hitters are very easy to exploit. So when you're going all or nothing in the playoffs, if you get caught on the bottom of that roller coaster against really good pitching, your season is over.
I have absolutely nothing to add to that comment because I agree 100%.
You know, he said, Keith, that he came from an organization, right, the Oakland Athletics, where they were the first on all of this, and they wanted to hit home runs, they wanted to get on base, and they've been a very successful organization, but what's the one thing that's missing? They've never won a World Series.
Correct.
They really haven't had much postseason success at all, even getting that far.
When you get to the postseason, it's the creme of la creme, so to speak.
Nimmo's 2 for 3 tonight. Reaction by Kelly. Nobody's up in the Mets bullpen, so it looks like Chris Bassett, for the first time as a Met, is going to get to throw a pitch in the 8th inning. 94 pitches through 7. He has been terrific. Aggressive tonight. Haven't been as many shakes as we've seen in past starts. Much more in tune with Nito calling the game. Taking advantage of a Milwaukee team that is passive quite a bit of the time. They've had a lot of first pitch called strikes. Nimmo lines one the other way, but right at Yelich.
To him with the 2 out. Nimmo had himself if he doesn't get up again, he's 2 for 4. He's had a good night at the plate. He's looked wonderful.
So now Starling Marte, 1 for 3, an infield hit back in the first. Also reached on a fielder's choice in the 5th, and then tagged and went to second on a fly.
That's a good point, Todd. 2019 as well.
Served to grant the Mets another run.
That was a big run. So that 4th run is very important. That 3-run homer can't tie you up. So I guess the 5th run is even more important because a grand slam can't beat you.
Well, 9 is good because then 2 grand slams can't beat you. I think generally my philosophy about that is the more runs you score, the better chance you have to win.
That's true. And the most important thing is score more than your opponent. Here, even if it's just 1.
And I don't think it matters whether it's an even number of runs or an odd number of runs. Either way, more is better.
But odd numbers are more lucky.
Says Mr. 17 and 37. 3-1 to Marte. Francisco Lindor on deck. How do you feel about when you're trying to come from behind and you're down by 5 runs and you have a couple of guys on base? The guy hits a 3-run home run. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Depends what part of the game.
We're talking about the last inning.
Oh, the last inning.
Yeah, the last inning.
always said that home run's a rally killer, right?
So do you really believe that there's ball?
All right, so 2-out walk for Marte.
Put in the 3 runs.
Yeah, guys, Jonathan's not acting cocky. He's stating the fact that the Phillies are playing well. You know, he can be happy about his team playing well. Again, Jonathan will agree with me. The Phillies have a hard task. They were 8 games behind the Mets. They got to jump over 2 teams, and 2 teams that are playing well. So that's the hard part, you know?
So we came to the ballpark today, and we sat down in the booth, and Keith looked down at the field, and he said, wow, they got SNY the app on the field. Now, what did we say? It's been there for how many weeks?
About a month. We were gone for 11 days.
Second week of the season, I'm told that SNY the app logo has been on the field. But, you know, I think that's admirable, Keith, because what it means is that you're concentrating on the game between the lines.
Good point.
Not the extraneous material that might be outside the line.
You know, and my short-term memory is starting to fail. We were gone 11 days and forgot.
And Lindor hits a ball right at the right fielder for the inning ending out. Going to the top of the 8th. Chris Bassett coming back on the mound for the 8th. Interesting, guys. Chris Bassett is not done. Very interesting. I'm a little shocked by that, but hey, I'll take it. Mets lead 4-0 going to the top of the 8th. Chris Bassett walking back out into the mound. Pitching very good. Yeah, Jonathan, his brother throws the same way Edwin does. It's crazy. I mean, they look like each other for sure, but like the pitching motion is almost exactly the same. Mets score adventures 4-0 Mets going to the top of the 8th. Well, honestly, Jonathan, I think the Phillies are going to have to settle for the NL wild card, only because it's, you know, you 8 games out back from the Mets, and you have to jump over 2 teams. And as you know, it's not easy to do because you don't play the Mets as much anymore. What do you got? 4 games left with the Mets. You got a decent amount of games with the Braves, but that really doesn't help you in the long run. I agree, Jonathan. Exactly. You know, good teams are supposed to beat up on the bad teams. That's the only way you win your division. You got to beat up on the bad teams. You know, I don't like people talking about, oh, they're playing bad teams. Well, the Mets, the Phillies, and the Braves are going to be playing all the bad teams at some point. Just different points of the year. Well, yeah, I mean, with 100 games left, anything's possible. I mean, but you don't see a team like the Mets that is a totally different team this year, choking like they did last year, which, again, it was mostly injuries that killed us. But, again, you know, the Phillies do have to prove that they can keep it going the whole year as well. They're another ones that have choked, too. They had the wild card last year, or in 2019 as well, and they choked it around as well. So, all right, guys. So, Bassett's still on the mound in the 8th inning with 95 pitches. I don't know why, but he is. Let's see what he can do.
Against Bassett, who has been in the groove right from the start of this game. He gets a swing and a miss, and it's 1-1.
I bet you Gary and Todd are happy the club's back in town. They've had to do those.
Drew Smith's warming up in the bullpen, I guess, just in case.
Game shows. 10 games on the West Coast.
Drew Smith up in the Mets bullpen. Do you think it's harder for the guys who go to the coast or the guys who stay home and watch the games in the late night hours?
I had a hard time on this trip getting adjusted. Usually it's coming back. I just felt like I was stuck in first gear for the first 4 or 5 days.
But you were brilliant.
I just didn't have it yet.
Well, you faked it well. And sometimes, you know, fake it till you make it. 1-2 coming to Narvaez. And the curve
Nice pitch. All right, Chris.
6 strikeouts for
Nice.
Bassett, who's fed his last 3 hitters. His longest outing of the year, 7 in the 3rd now.
Well, there's the big move. Remember, he's got the glove hand really raises in the sky. Most guys have it tucked in under their chest. Not so Bassett.
Now Hunter Renfroe. Renfroe has the closest thing to an extra base hit for the Brewers tonight. A liner in the gap in left center that Nimmo made a fantastic diving catch on.
It would be very nice for Bassett to finish very strong. What a punctuation on this start.
His 100th pitch is fouled back. That's 1-1. For 110 pitches in his June 3rd start in LA. Working at a rapid clip tonight. Again, not as many shake-offs as we've seen in past starts. He and Nito appear to have been on the same page all night. And this is with a changeup down, and it's 2-1. Renfroe played in Boston last year, had 31 home runs for the Red Sox. But another guy whose numbers are down significantly from a year ago.
Nice
on
pitch.
the outside corner strike, he'll throw a 94 in the 8th inning. Reese Peterson on deck. 2-2 coming to Renfroe. He fouls back a cutter. Also had a complete game, a 9-inning shutout last year. His only career complete game for Oakland.
Got him out in front. Who's going to get to that? Can Jeff get to that? He got it. 2 outs.
Took a little off that slider here. You know he has 2 speeds with his breaking balls.
Is the road ahead. You're home for the bets on the radio. It's WCBS News Radio 880 and anywhere on the Odyssey app. 2 more night games with the Brewers the next 2 nights, and then 4 with the Marlins. The wraparound series ending on Monday before the Mets go to Houston and Miami on their next road trip.
That's the place where they have the oranges on the train.
They're not pumpkins, so they must be oranges. Yes. Fastball for a call strike to Peterson. I'd love to go any good.
I do too. You know what I like most in the 7th inning?
Angel, that's definitely the reason why. You know, had that extra rest because of the off day. Why not? He's feeling it. Let him go. Fans are getting up on their feet, clapping for Bassett. 106 pitches.
Coming. Just missed. 95. He was definitely going for the.
I agree, James.
Finish with a flourish. He's got at least one more pitch to make. Peterson's been on base twice with a single and a walk. One, 2. Sells that one outside. 2-2. Nelson has walked 1, struck out 6, and on 3 singles. Tyrone Taylor on deck. If it gets down to him, I'm sure Buck will bring him through safe. Bassett trying to get his cats down to get through the 8th. 2-2.
Yeah. What a game by Bassett.
What a complete turnaround for Chris Bassett. 5 rough starts in a row. 8
Boy, did this Mets team needed Chris Bassett to show up tonight. 8 solid innings. No runs. Look, the Mets needed Bassett. There's no doubt about it. I don't think the Mets could have asked for anything else from Bassett tonight. I mean, we were worried about Bassett. He struggled the last couple of outings, but finally figured it out. And, you know, when it comes to the NL East, again, if you look at how many I'm just checking something really quick. So the Braves have 35 wins, right? There's 100 games left. If they go 50-50, they go 500. That's 85 wins. So they got to play 10 games over 500 the rest of the way. They got to go 60-40. No, sorry. Yeah, they got to go 10 games over 500 to get to 95 wins, right? So they need 60 wins to get to 95 wins. The Mets, 50 wins gets them 90 if they go 500 the rest of the way. So if they play 5 games over 500, they got 95 wins. So the Braves have to play 10 plus games over 500. The Phillies, in this case, who have 31 wins, they got to win 60 out of the next 100 to get 91 wins. So again, it's a big task. The Mets are the Mets can go 500 and get 90 wins just like that. If they go even 5 games over 500, it's 95 wins. So the Mets are in the driver's seat. The Braves still have a lot of work to do, and definitely the Phillies have a lot of work to do. But it doesn't matter what the Braves or what the Phillies do. As long as the Mets take care of business, it doesn't matter what happens behind us. So we're going to the top of the 9th. Bassett with great. Oh, they went late to commercial again. Going to the bottom of the 8th, 1 out already.
And so after Pete reached base his first 3 trips, he flies out for the first out of the bottom of the 8th. Chris Bassett just the second bet this year to go 8. Carlos Carrasco made 3rd against Atlanta. Now Bassett tonight. And he was aggressive early, Keith, and it really set the tone for the whole night.
He came out throwing his fastball here, and they got him 3 runs in that first inning, the bottom half, and that's nice to get a cushion. And he just finally worked in. He got his rhythm and worked in his breaking ball, and he really turned it on the second half of the game, of his start, I should say.
Jeff McNeil had a double off the pitcher's glove in the first inning to drive in a run. Mets scored 3 in the first, added 1 in the 5th. Alonso's driven in 2 of the 4 runs. Fastball away to Jeff for ball and strike. We'll see who pitches the 9th for the Mets. They had Drew Smith up during that 8th inning in case Bassett needed help there. So do you go to Diaz after he got a 5-out save Sunday night, or you try to give him another day off? Diaz was as electric and as dominating on Sunday night as we've ever seen him. And his confrontation with Mike Trout was a thing to watch.
It looks like Smith to me in the bullpen. Not sure.
And it is Drew Smith, it looks like, who's going to get the ninth. And I think that's a good move by Buck. I agree, because Diaz expended a lot of energy Sunday, and if you give him 2 days off, that's better than 1 if you can pull it off. Inside, and McNeil is hit. So the total goes to 42 Mets hit by pitches this year.
Well, that wasn't pretty, but you got out of the way.
No, fastball. Tried to come inside. See, that is his awkward side of the plate. And submariners love to run that little sinker down and away.
Buck was not happy.
At some point, we're going to compile a compendium of Buck's reaction shots to Mets getting hit by pitches. Good thing to see. Here's Escobar. And he takes a slider that misses for ball 1. Escobar sacrifice fly in the first, otherwise 0 for 2. Hitless now in his last 10 at bats.
Lonely chicken, I agree.
Coming off his cycle in San
At some
Diego.
point, it's getting so annoying.
Kelly in for a strike 1-1. Trevor Kelly working his second inning in relief, and a couple of hard hit balls against him, but it's not a lot of hit. But he has given up
Exactly,
a
Christian.
good about it. On the latest Mets pod, Connor Rogers and Joe DeMeo were live from CitiField earlier today to recap the Mets' West Coast road trip and discuss their shrinking lead in the NL East. Check out today's Mets pod on SNY's YouTube channel, or subscribe and listen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Escobar drives one to left field, but it should be a catch for Yelich, and it is 2 outs.
Game 2 of this series tomorrow night, David Peterson gets a start for the Mets, and Corbin Burns, the reigning Cy Young Award winner in the National League, will be going for the Brewers. 6:30 the coverage tomorrow night. That used to be that we saw a lot of people bringing transistor radios to the ballpark. I didn't even know that they made transistor radios anymore.
That might be a mini boombox.
Wow. It's got the vintage radio and the vintage Coke.
So he's listening to Howie and Wayne.
You know, with modern technology, kid, it is possible he could be listening to the TV audio. That's our T-Mobile coverage game for tonight with the best coverage of the game. Radio, TV, transistor radio, app. There we go. Pyramid takes below the knees and it's 1-1. Luis is 1 for 3 on base.
Once again, guys, getting to the end of the game. 8th inning, bottom of the 8th, 2 outs, 1 on, 4-0 Mets. Hit on that like button, guys. Let's go. Let's finish up strong with the lights.
Slider up for a strike, 1-2. Well, the Brewers are in the midst of a stretch where they've lost 8 of 9. And in that stretch, they've been shut out 3 times. They've been shut out 7 times this season. Gourmet fights one off. That's a 9 shutout victories this year.
Yeah, you don't want him to go complete game. Pitch great, keep him out, get somebody out of the bullpen to finish it up.
Chris Bassett, the big story tonight. Last 5 starts coming into this one, a 7.62 ERA. Got battered in San Diego his last time out, and it could not have been more different tonight. 1-2 coming. And Guillorme has to move his feet. 2-2.
Kelly's trying to throw inside to the left-hand hitters. He has to, but it's just not his comfort zone. And just spit on it. Literally.
Jacob deGrom and Max Scherzer in the same place at the same time. Can't wait till they pitch back-to-back games for this team. And Guillorme tried to hold it, he stopped it in time. Jake is going to throw another bullpen session. It would appear he threw one today at about 1 o'clock this afternoon. Scherzer is set to face hitters in a simulated game on Thursday, so Max a little bit ahead of Jake. But both continuing to progress and feel good. Max said today his oblique is 90% of the way there, but he said half the battle is getting from 90% to 100%.
Guillermo putting together a nice at bat.
Except that it makes sense. What else? The Yogi said that 90% of hitting is half mental.
Yes,
so Max says that half the battle is getting from 90% to 100% with his oblique.
Yogi said a lot of things.
He did, some of which he actually said. Fly ball out to left.
Always better late than never, Ruben.
Retired.
Alrighty, guys. So we're going to the top of the ninth. Last licks for the Brewers. Mets still lead 4-0. We'll see who's going to be coming in. Would it be Drew Smith? Would it be Ottavino? We'll see. But what a performance by Chris Bassett. Got to 8 innings, 110 pitches, no runs, couple of hits. Just an excellent performance by Bassett. And oh boy, did the Mets need it. And Chris Bassett needed it. Whatever he did during his couple of days off before his next start, he figured it out. It's crazy that a pitcher that said the other day in his last start that he never been through a situation in his career like this. And he comes out. Look, that's why you got to trust your veteran pitchers. You know, these guys are veterans. And you know eventually they're going to figure it out. And Chris Bassett figured it all out today. I don't think anybody thought we were going to get 8 innings from Chris Bassett. No doubt about it. And we did. And, again, this is a guy that was an ace of the staff last year for Oakland. Even though Montas is the de facto ace, Chris Bassett was A's best pitcher last year. You got to give this guy credit. I mean, he was he talked a big game early on. Not afraid to face anybody, just goes after people. The last 7 starts was not very good, but that's why you always got to trust the veteran to figure it out, and he has done it. So once again, guys, don't forget to please hit on that like button before we end this game. The Mets got a 4-0 lead going to the top of the ninth. Last licks for the Brewers. See who's going to come in for the Mets in the bullpen to finish the game. So they're doing a hit-by-pitch montage by all the Mets getting hit.
Well, ask and ye shall receive. We wanted a compendium of Buck Showalter reactions. We got even better than that. We got a brilliantly produced piece by our buddies in the truck. Nice job, Eddie.
Scarlett would have said, I shall avert my eyes.
Well, I'll tell you what. Watching Pete get hit in the head. Watching Ken get hit in the head. Watching Lindor get hit in the face. They're hard to watch.
Yes, they are.
Drew Smith on
Drew Smith is in, guys. Drew Smith is in.
Fastball for a strike.
Drew's been solid all year. Look at his numbers. They reflect how well he's pitched. Just a couple home runs he's given up, but he has been solid.
Drew pitched the first game.
Mets, thank you, buddy. I really do appreciate the nice words. Do appreciate it. Appreciate the support as always. Let's get the 150 likes before the game ends, guys. Let's go.
Buck is ahead of the food chain, way up in the order of that bullpen. He is solid reliever.
I agree, Mary.
Number 9 hitter getting just his 3rd plate appearance in the 9th inning. Bassett faced just 2.
Not streaming tomorrow. Unfortunately, I got to get ready for my trip to Vegas on Thursday. So, unfortunately, not. All right, should be 1 out. All right.
After the post-game show, going to go sports night. We talked about Scherzer and DeGrom getting closer. More on that. And there will be late baseball talk.
Game can end before 10 o'clock. How nice would that be, guys? Terry, I will try. Oh, I will. I'm not trying. I will. It's Vegas.
He has one of the 3 Milwaukee hits, a single to center in the 6th.
All right. 1 down, 2 to go.
First pitch curveball for a strike, 0-1. Bassett, by the way, lowered his ERA tonight from 4.35 to 3.89. Be a lot happier with that. In line for his 5th win against 4 losses.
Staying at Treasure Island, Ryan. I like to try different hotels every time I go. I've been to the Cosmopolitan, Bally's, MGM, New York. So I try to do all of them. All right, 2 strikes on the second batter of the inning.
Everything coming up roses tonight for Bassett after a rough stretch last month. 1-2 coming to Yelich. This is outside a curveball, 2-2.
Let's go, Drew. Finish it up.
Only struck out 4 times. Right on what they do best.
2-2 coming to Yelich. Tight.
3-2. Christian. I'm sorry, not Christian. Mets. I don't think it's a necessity for the Mets with Wilson Contreras, honestly.
He's got 2 starters on the shelf right now. Brandon Woodruff and Freddie Peralta. Burns is their guy.
Oh, Christian, I would have loved that. We went to meetings in Vegas. All right, another fly ball. McNeil should get it. 2 outs. Oh, yeah, Ryan. I know there's a poker tournament there. I'm not a big poker guy. I do like my slots, I'm not going to lie. It's kind of crazy to me. My first time in Vegas was only, 5 years ago. So, all right, guys. 1 more out to go. Mets win another ball game.
This is not a ball one.
Let's go, guys. Finish it up strong. Let's get to 150 before the stream ends. 145 likes. Let's get to 150. Let's go.
And Adames takes a slider for a strike. 1-1.
Oh, just so you know, guys, the Marlins just tied the game against the Phillies. So much for the Phillies just blowing everything going on, right?
Just in case. Doesn't look like he's going to be. Adames chases a
All right, 2 strikes. Final strike here.
I think Drew Smith has the drawing hand.
And thus the Brewers go down to their final
Thank you,
strike.
Keith. Appreciate it. Let's go. Finish it up.
1-2 coming to Adames. Inside 2-2. Adames can keep it going. Rowdy Tellez would be next. Look like the Mets are going to be able to increase their lead tonight as the Braves are up 9-4 in the 8th in Washington, time for their 13th in a row. But let's take care of business at the start of the 7-game homestand. 2-2 coming from Smith to Adames. Out of the way, he'll do it again.
Ryan, probably
Those are
not.
in a tight one with the Marlins. They are 8-8 now in the 7th inning. That gives them back and forth.
The Brewers, if they lose this one with the Cardinals on the verge of taking 2, they can go back 2.5.
Again, the 2-2 coming to Adames.
Put it in the the ball goes to the backstop. Can you get him out? Put it in the books. Little shaky there, but we did it. Yes, 41st win of the year. Yes. Alrighty, guys. Nice victory for the Mets to get the 41st win of the year. Chris Bassett, with his best performance as a New York Met, gets back on track after a few bad starts in a row, but nice victory all around. I want to say it was a real easy victory, but it was a less of a nervous type of victory. We like that for our New York Mets. Mets get their 41st win of the year, and at the very least, keep their division lead it to 5 games. The Phillies were winning 8-4, but the Marlins came back and tied the game. So we'll see what happens in that game. The Braves are winning by a couple of runs. I think it's 5 runs. So they in the 8th inning, so they'll probably pull that one out, getting their 13 straight. But it doesn't matter what they do if the Mets win. So once again, guys, one last chance to hit on that like button. And before I end this stream, I do appreciate everybody hanging on tonight for the Mets versus Brewers. First game back at CitiField in 2 weeks. That was a nice game by the Mets all around. Offense, didn't score a lot of runs, but 4 runs more than enough when Bassett has the game of his life as a Met so far. I really do appreciate it, guys. Awesome stream, guys. You guys held it down. Got that like button to where I usually like it, around 150. That was the goal. We'll get it there probably by the end of the stream. It will go over 150. I do appreciate it. Let's give a shout out real quick to Jeff for the super chat. I do appreciate it. Great game, y'all. We're in the middle of something special. I 100% agree. Stoked for this season. Thank you for the super chat, Jeff. I do appreciate it. Keep on coming back for more, Jeff. Once again, guys, probably not doing a live stream tomorrow for the game. I will be doing a couple of Mets Talk live from Vegas, but I will see you. Next time I see you will probably be a live stream in Vegas. So have a good night, guys. Good, important victory for the Mets to start off the homestand. 1-0 on the homestand. 6 more games to go on a homestand. 2 more against the Brewers, 4 against the Marlins. Let's see what the Mets do going forward. But at the very least, we keep our 5-game lead. And the Mets just continue to look good all season. Once again, guys, David Peterson on the mound tomorrow against Corbin Burns. Hopefully the Mets pull another victory out and win the series. Mets get the victory 4-0. Bassett, great performance. 41 wins, 22 losses for the New York Mets. Everybody, have a good night. And as always, Mets fans, let's go Mets. Yes. Love it.